Holding that up a lot.
Yeah, picture of that.
Yeah. Someone will AI that.
Staying up trophy.
Someone will AI that and send it to us, mate.
Yeah. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, Daz, enjoy it, mate. It's up. It's over. We can all relax now. Got the World Cup coming up.
He's the only one under a rock.
Just relax.
The only one. Only one that's got any. Only one that's got anything about him. Only Spurs fan today.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Premier League winner Emmanuel Petit's told White and Jordan now Pep Guardiola's out the picture, Arteta's Arsenal can dominate for years to come.
When I look at the team, the structure, the spine of the team, when I look at the manager, when I look what's going on as well in other clubs, the biggest rival, and there are probably four teams, in England, against Arsenal. But the biggest one, I think it's Manchester City.
Arsenal versus PSG in the Champions League final is, of course, live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Now, as we wait for West Ham's decision on Nuno Espirito Santo following their relegation, talkSPORT's Sally McCoy says they should keep him on.
I think he would be the man to get them back up. We know how difficult that championship is. It's really, really difficult. And not only can you get lost in it, but you're right, you can go the other way as well.
Meanwhile, football finance expert Kieran Maguire is worried for West Ham.
If they're losing £2 million a week in the Premier League, then even if they've got wage savings and so on, it is going to be very challenging.
West Ham will need to sell players this summer. That transfer window is less than 3 weeks away now. We're told Spurs are keen on Man City winger Savinho. Meanwhile, it's been reported Juventus have made a move for Liverpool's Andy Robertson, but Spurs are still favourites to sign him. And we've heard Alisson's unhappy about Liverpool blocking his move to Juventus. You can get more on all this on the website at talksport.com. Craig Bellamy's announced his 26-man Wales squad for the upcoming friendlies. Burnley's Connor Roberts and captain Ben Davies are both back in after extended periods out injured. And some live golf stars could bail the breakaway league out with their own cash. Bryson DeChambeau, Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood could stump up as much as 150 million quid after Saudi Arabia pulled the plug on funding.
talkSPORT News.
A rape case in which 2 teenage boys avoided jail is heading to the Court of Appeal, and more heat records could be broken in parts of the UK today. Emma's got more on all that at 1:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Our expert technicians can't do your spring cleaning, but they can keep your car's inbuilt safety tech in top nick. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Another very hot day across much of England and Wales. Fresher across northern areas, though, with sunny spells. Maybe a few thundery showers across England and Wales later.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, French football expert Julien Laurent is here to chat about his new biography of Kylian Mbappe and to preview the Champions League final, of course. And we're in Leipzig ahead of Paris versus Rayo Vallecano tomorrow night. And West Ham supporting Sam Delaney on the changes he wants to see at his club.
We'd also welcome your tales of statue enhancement, plus conversations you thought you'd never have. And we will be joined by the man they call the Lionel Messi of cheese rolling.
I know. There's all this. Plus Arsenal supporting comedian Bilal Zafar pops in. We're in the States to get reaction to Poch's USA World Cup squad, and we'll look back on the damn squib that was the enhanced games.
Yeah.
Good piece from Matt Lawton.
It actually happened on Sunday, the enhanced games, where you could be juiced as much as you like. You kind of blink and you miss it. Anyway, Matt Lawton from The Times going to pop in and tell us a bit more about what went on. It is 6 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Anne.
Good afternoon, Paul. And you mentioned cheese chaser Chris Anderson, been described as the Lionel Messi of cheese.
This was at Cooper's Hill yesterday in Gloucestershire, chasing a cheese down a hill, wasn't he? That's right. They do it. It's traditional sport on Bank Holiday Monday.
I thought it was a strange description because surely Lionel would just walk slowly down the hill, and just fall the last 5 yards.
That's what he'd do. He just sort of what you'd think as he was going down there. He didn't look particularly interested in doing it quickly, and then suddenly comes alive right at the end, doesn't he? That's Lionel for you.
You get the idea there.
Yeah.
Emma Raducanu, another first-round exit again, and but bring on the sponsors. They announced then some £14.2 million worth. I was thinking it's like being a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
And you've got royalties for the rest of your life. That's basically it. She had one hit wonder. She had a one hit.
She's got the chance to have another hit, hasn't she?
Is it going to happen though?
I don't know.
I feel not.
Okay, well, I'm sure if she's listening, you're not going to go in as her sports psychologist.
No, I'm definitely not. No. And but what a great game between Katie Bolter and her opponent yesterday.
Yeah.
Only 93 unforced errors. Tremendous.
Wow.
I know, mad.
Not watching Spurs quite a lot this season.
Something like that, anyway.
Yeah.
And, Brian.
You're suddenly into your tennis.
Well, you know.
Now, normally on a night when there's no sport, you do a trawl of the TV channels, the sports TV channels, to see if you can find any.
I was going to do it, but I thought...
Because by the time you got home, well done to Notts County, by the way. Andrew McKenna's Notts County came through. We may be hopefully chatting to one of their players a bit later on. But
that's how I think of them, Andrew McKenna's Notts.
That's right. It's a bit like, that's definitely that.
No, I just thought to myself, this is fruitless because there's no sport. There is absolutely no...
There must have been some.
No, there wasn't even any...
Frankie Howard?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a T20. There was one coming to an end, and no, that wasn't even right. It was the New Zealand-England game, and that finished early. So there was absolutely nothing other than repeat. So I thought, I'm going to watch, and I watched it on Sunday night, Dear England. I know you've seen the stage play.
I have, and it looks very much like the stage play.
I'm sure the script's fairly similar. It's absolutely brilliant, and it makes you appreciate Gareth Southgate more than, people forget what he achieved. I had really. I knew, but I'd forgotten that when he came in, it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Just coming off 2016, Iceland, Sam Allardyce, all that, and the way he went in and the way he changed the culture. I thought it was fascinating, and it's a brilliant performance.
I will remind you, though, before we went into a couple of tournaments.
No, I said...
You were saying he's got... You were... And I used to say to you, if we win anything, you're not coming to the party. You're not...
I started to say things like, arise, Sir Gareth.
Yeah, suddenly, and you change your tune, don't you?
Yeah. Well, the idea that you'd always be right about something would be ridiculous. I've said a lot of things on here that have...
Or ever, indeed.
Ever.
Two things to get the listeners
I'd
on.
accept that.
Conversations you thought you'd never have.
Yeah.
Spencer Oliver, he may actually come on air and chat about this at a later stage.
Brilliant.
Spencer came up to me and Andy earlier on. He said, boys, I want to run something past you. He said, I can't think of anybody in this building who can shed some light on it more than you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, we can't be boxing related because, Spencer's a former fighter. He knows everything about boxing, so it won't be boxing related. Yeah. He doesn't mind his football, but he wouldn't call him. It might be football.
Yeah, I thought it might be.
And he said, I've just come back from Gies. He was over there for the Usyk Verhoeven fight. And he said, I went up close to the pyramids. I stood next to the pyramids. I mean, touching distance,
Yeah.
And I looked at them and I thought there is absolutely no way, given the technology of the time, that they could have been built by humans.
Well,
So there I found myself saying to Spencer Oliver, former fighter, and I said, you want to read Chariot of the Gods by Eric von Daniken?
I can see he's already gone to Smith. He's already bought a copy.
He's gone down to Waterston. But I said, write that down. I said, it's all about that. So I just thought, when I woke up this morning, I thought, I'm almost certainly not going to have a conversation about aliens building the pyramids with former fighter Spencer Oliver.
Spencer did feel it. There was some sort of extraterrestrial
Sometimes,
involvement.
if you've got a few of those moments, you think, I really wasn't expecting to have that conversation. It could be with a relative, could be with someone of note. I remember once years ago when the late, great Terry Hall of Specials was working.
Not Lenny the Light.
No, was working with Ian Brody of the Lightning Seeds, and he worked on his fine album, Home, and they did some live gigs. And I went and had a drink afterwards. We were having a chat, and it was me, Ian Brody, Terry Hall, and my mate Andy Strickland, who
and Andy,
Pompey fan, and we'd all just kind of become dads around the same time. We're having a conversation about disposable nappies.
Really? Yeah.
And one of them said, like, don't buy cheap ones. Get Pampers. I mean, I know others are available, but it sometimes you find yourself and you think, I never really expected to have that conversation. No. So if you've got one of those for us, it could be one with your old mum that you wanted. Who knows? Let us know. talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH&J or 03717223344.
That was the Chelsea Flower Show last week, but
did it go down badly?
Well, I was enjoying.
Some of the gardeners there, were they on 10-year contracts? They're going to be doing the next 9 years of the Chelsea Flower
That's the idea. Yeah,
massive money.
That's the one. Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, the Beckhams were there, or David was there, with his garden.
David, like you know him.
Well, very personal friend.
Yeah.
And Andy Goldstein is, but never mind. Yeah. That's another matter.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of texts here that are fascinating. Seems to me, this is a woman who wrote to the Star.
Yes.
The Chelsea Flower Show is all about Z-list celebs getting their faces on camera. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Not the people that spend months and months planning a garden. Have you ever seen how much work it takes?
Do you know I've never been? Have you been?
No, I've never been. I've only watched it on telly.
Right, okay.
I'd quite like to go. Apparently, though, people were complaining it was too hot. But Brian Linford...
No control over that, have they?
Well, no, that's the thing.
Yep.
Brian Linford.
Oh, yeah, your mate. Yeah, I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
He's written about it. He says, honestly, this letter was so mad and so made no sense. I actually read it out loud twice to myself and still didn't understand it. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
I'll read it exactly as it was written.
Good.
The BBC RHS Flower Show winner, a Hosta Red Ninja plant, saw quite the fabulous red shade of BBC host Sophie Rayworth's dress, singers Elaine Page, Small P, Beverly Knight, James Farrar, E/Inders, Judi Dench. She's not in Judi Dench. She's not in EastEnders. King Charles Beck.
What are you talking about?
I know. All saw the BBC People's Choice Award commendably go to A Garden for Every Parkinson's Journey. Surprisingly enjoyable, and Michael Ball tunes. That's it. That's what it's.
I just think he dictates it. He dictates it straight down the line to the Star.
I don't think he even does that.
So those conversations you never expected to have. Let us know. Talksport.com. Text.
Great having a conversation with Brian.
Words would be weird.
Word salad.
Odd shouting and stuff.
Somebody wrote on X just now. Can the news stop telling us it's really hot? We know.
We know.
And right. Even the Times now, we've always talked about Hotter Than being a real tabloid staple. Hotter than Los Angeles, hotter than wherever it is.
Sure.
Times have started. This is the second time in 2 weeks. Hotter than Hanoi, which I suppose is, sort of...
Bit of alliteration.
Yeah. So there you go.
It was also the name of the one-man show you did once, didn't you? Which I didn't get to see. So.
No, it's tremendous.
Anyway, Adrian Durham's going to join us. He's in Leipzig. Is it hotter than Leipzig?
No, I doubt it. I would imagine it's similarly hot.
We'll find out in a minute.
And I will talk later about the pound per point table, which is a fascinating thing, really.
It's good for your club, wasn't it?
Oh, what? It's bad for both.
The clubs who got very bad bang for their buck.
Yeah,
basically.
Spurs and Chelsea are both in the bottom four. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how bad you have to be to lose your job. It's amazing, isn't it? But I think the problem is the people above.
I've been asking that question for years.
I know exactly. The people above, very true. The people above these people, I don't think they really know football. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Why would you continually let somebody spend all this money and it not work? I don't get it. Would you not?
You want a bit more control over your cash, wouldn't you?
I think I might.
Adrian Durham joins us live from Leipzig. The Palace fans are descending, I believe. Our old mate Kevin Day's going to be there. You may well hear from him tomorrow.
Fantastic.
If the boys get him early. Sam Delaney's going to join us, West Ham fan. What's the way forward for them after relegation? And yes, the Lionel Messi of cheese rolling, Chris Anderson, beaten by a young buck yesterday, a young German.
Yeah.
He came out of retirement to take on Tom Kopka, but spoiler alert, it didn't go his way. Anyway, he'll join us. We're in the States to look at Poch's squad later on. Arsenal fan, comedian Bilal Zafar pops into the studio. England superfan Andy Milne will be here, who was apparently, we'll find out if it's true, if he's actually sold his house to go to the World Cup in a couple of weeks' time. And Julian Lorana, old mate Jules, will be here. He's written a fine new book and a biography of Kylian Mbappe. We'll be chatting about that and looking ahead to Saturday. That's all to come. We're here, as always, with our good friends at Toolstation, the Toolstation Trade Club. You get 10% off for all electrical and lighting products when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Toolstation.
You're talking about 2-3 players, right? And I get that Spurs miss out.
But that's the track record.
There's plenty of players out there
over the many
not
years.
lads from Middlesbrough who come off the bench in the playoff final. Like, do me.
Well, he was injured. He's been the best player in the Championship this season.
Yeah, I don't want to sign Championship players. Spurs don't need to sign Championship players. We've got Championship players. They've shown that. We've got Championship players.
Do you? I understand what you're saying. Hayden Hackney, I think, would be a good signing. He's been brilliant this season. But I understand what you're saying about actually you need to aim bigger than that on top of the Hayden Hackneys and that. But do you trust? Do you trust the owners enough?
No, I don't trust the owners.
I don't think it's down to the owners anymore. I think De Zerbi's got full control. I think he will be the one who's picking the players.
They still got to dip their hand in the pockets.
Well,
they've got to okay.
They're the
They've
ones
got to
who
sign off the
released a
contracts.
statement when they got rid of Daniel Levy, saying that they're going to spend money.
But that's my point.
Everyone was going to change the narrative, and it was sporting success that they were.
And then what happened in January? They went and sold. They went and sold Brennan Johnson for 30 mil. Brought in Conor Gallagher for 30 mil.
Net zero spend.
Well, it was net 12 with Sousa as well, but. You know,
first team.
Exactly. My point is, and that's my point. So summer coming up, this is Tottenham Hotspur, and you can't get the Champions League players. It's not going to happen. But you can still attract with those big wages.
It's about clever
Alex Scott. They're the type of player.
Well, he came from the Championship.
Yeah, I know, but he's been in Bournemouth and he's top.
No, but they bought him from the Championship.
Yeah, but he's been playing in the Premier League.
Semenyo came. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you can be clever with your recruitment. Antoine Semenyo came from the Championship. Adam Wharton.
No,
but the point is about to win a European final.
Now.
Why not?
Because I don't want them. We've got to sign the Premier League players who are playing in the Premier League who have been top draw.
The point, no.
Championship.
I think you're being a snob.
The point Jamie's making,
upgrading the squad now from where it is. They've had those middle ranking signings. They need polish to make them get over the line and pull them out of the situation they're in. Here's a question for
Michael Elise's done all right coming out of the Championship.
Go back to.
Who did you go to? Went to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And then went.
Tomorrow night we bring you the Conference League final between Crystal Palace and Rayo Vallecano. Before we chat to Adrian Durham, who's already in situ in Leipzig to bring you the game. Dean Henderson, the Palace keeper, has been chatting to talkSPORT. He was asked how it felt being favourites for the competition since it started back in October.
I was interested to see why Shakhtar weren't favourites, to be honest, because they were unbelievable. And they were a Champions League side. So this is our first European journey. The first time we competed in a European tournament, so I'm not sure that we would have been favourites. Maybe the bookies make us favourites, but yeah, we're there, we're ready, we'll be ready for the big moments. I trust these lads to deliver. We don't look at it like that, it's about the game, and we respect the opposition. The opposition are very good, obviously, to go away to Strasbourg and win 1-0 and not concede a goal. They were pretty impressive in the group stage when we come across them, so they get our huge respect from us guys, and yeah, we'll be following out the manager's plan, which will give us the best opportunity to win the game.
Well, we have one European champion already in Villa, and we have 2 others in finals.
Incredible. They won't, won't like it at UEFA.
No, they won't like it at UEFA. Adrian Durham joins us live from Leipzig now. Hi, Aid.
Hi, you guys. Pleasure to be on the show. UEFA won't like it, but they keep giving us these extra places in Europe, so it's their fault, really, isn't it?
Very much.
I think it is. I mean, with the resource that the Premier League clubs have, I mean, it's not a massive surprise, is it, that they're getting to the club? Anything can happen in football, especially the knockout stages towards the end. But there is an expectation they're going to be in the closing stages, the teams from the Premier League.
Yeah, you would expect so, and so it's proved this year. It doesn't happen every year, though. One thing I would say on Crystal Palace's run, they've kind of stumbled and limped to a certain extent. They lost at home to Larnaca, if you remember. They drew with Kups from Finland, so they've kind of not made it easy for themselves. But sure, they're here in the final in Leipzig tomorrow night against Rayo Vallecano. But I do know that Rayo Vallecano have some good players, as Dean Henderson was saying there. So I don't think it's a walkover by any stretch of the imagination. And I think Crystal Palace's best players, Adam Wharton, assuming he's fit, he's been training, so assuming he's fit, is going to be absolutely crucial to them, and they've got to take chances as well.
They didn't have a great league season, but I think the players deserve a bit of credit, because when the manager announces he's going, normally there's a real drop-off.
Yeah.
But that hasn't really happened, has it, Adrian? I don't think.
No, and I think that's credit to him as well. I think he's done really well in managing the team of players. So, well, he had that outburst about Mark Gay. I actually thought he was right on that to a certain extent. I could understand where he was coming from. But, you know, after that outburst, I thought, well, there's no way forward. But he's managed to keep the players on side. Yeah, I'm thinking about how players react to things, and they do just get on with it. All the politics and all that sort of stuff doesn't really bother them. They're all pleased Mark Gahey that he's gone to Manchester City. They all want to better themselves, so they understand it from a player's point of view. They probably understand it from Glasner's point of view as well. So I think he's done really well. The players have done really well, but 15th is their lowest position, finishing in the Premier League for 10 years. So yeah, it's not been great. However, it's 2 years of pure glory under Oliver Glasner. And I've just been speaking to Palace fans in Leipzig, and they're just enjoying the ride and hoping that it can continue in the years to come.
Who would they like to see next, Adrian? Have they been mentioning names after Glasner's gone?
Yeah, I mean, they're all talking about Areola, and I had a chance meeting with somebody close to those making decisions at Crystal Palace a couple of weeks ago. And they didn't think Areola was serious about going there. And then after they'd met with him, they realised he was serious about going there. Now, other things might have happened in the meantime. It doesn't necessarily mean Palace will get him. But boy, what a coup if they do get him. And the irony is, Areola used to manage Rayo Vallecano. His assistant at Rayo Vallecano is in charge of the Spanish side tomorrow night. So there's a kind of big circle being drawn there. So it's an interesting connection, that one.
There's a few stories today saying AC Milan are interested in Iraola, but from his point of view, I mean, he's only got to look at Thomas Frank and see moving into a kind of not as supportive structure, which Spurs, conducive structure, which Spurs wasn't obviously compared with Bournemouth. That's always high risk, and, you know, he could be walking into a flipping maelstrom at Milan, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could. And I mean, a lot of people from the outside would look at it and say, and maybe even those inside at Palace would say, why would you leave Bournemouth and come to Crystal Palace? It's a sideways step, possibly, although Palace have a bigger history and a bigger stadium and a bigger fan base, of course. But I don't think it's out of the question he goes to Crystal Palace. But you're right. And I think that's the thing that Palace were fearing, that if a, quote, big job comes up in the meantime, that will be a lot that would tempt Andoni Iraola. But for now, I mean, they're just focusing on what's happened with the FA Cup, the Community Shield, and now hopefully for their sake, they are going to win the Conference League. But I actually think it'll be a really good final tomorrow night. Rayo Vallecano attack. They're a lot like Bournemouth. That legacy from Iriola lives on. They do attack with energy and tempo and pace. And in De Frutos, they've got a Spanish international on the right who can cause havoc. Palazon, I think, is an extraordinary player in terms of his output, what he does. He seems to cross, and then he's on the end of it for a shot as well. He's an incredible player. So they've got to really watch out for a couple of stars in the Rayo Vallecano team. They're not bad at all. If you'd said to anybody, Paul and Andy, at the end of the season in the European finals, there will be one Spanish team, there will be one team from Madrid, this would probably not even have been your third guest, right? Rayo Vallecano.
No. Just away from the game, Adrian, the song of the closing weeks of the season for Spurs and West Ham fans has been Lincoln away, ole, ole. Now, your team, Posh, they did play in the same league as Lincoln. So I thought you might give us, because they're kind of using the stick to beat other teams with, which is a bit unfair. So Lincoln, tell us a bit more about them from what you've seen.
First of all, are you okay?
I am. I've decompressed enough. I slept better last night, put it that way.
I'm sending you a big hug, my friend. Okay, I think you're going to need it. Listen, I studied hard what Lincoln did last season, because when they were top and flying, nobody really predicted it. And they actually don't want the ball. They won a game 4-0 with about 27% of the ball, but that's their MO. That's what they do. And it works for them. They won the league at a canter. Got a couple of little really good players. The main one is the Irishman, Jack Moylan, who's they call the Magic Man. He's fantastic. But listen, Lincoln, it's an outpost from England. It's about 50 miles from civilization. The ground isn't particularly spectacular. Doesn't need to be, and it's not a criticism, it's just the way it is. And historically, 10 years ago, they're a non-league club. In my growing up in football history, they were always in Division 4 with us. So them being in the Championship, as we know, it's the first time it's happened for 60-odd years. So that's an extraordinary thing for them. And I think that's the reason why. It wasn't really having a go at Lincoln. It was almost celebrating Lincoln, really, that either Tottenham or West Ham were going to be playing them. And so it's proved West Ham away to Lincoln. That's some game now.
Well, you've seen my team avoid relegation. Yours did as well. I mean, you were fairly safe in the end, relatively speaking. So onwards and upwards for Posh next year.
Yeah, well, it would help if they could recruit a team. That would be a starting point. Yeah, they've been actually 2 seasons being terrible. The previous season they won the Virtue Trophy at Wembley, so that made up for that. Certainly in my mind, anyway. Last season was, and I hate to say it, but I did know at the start when our recruitment was so bad. I knew it was going to be a terrible season. Knew it was going to be more bottom 4 than top 6. That was easy to see from the players we signed. So they're really good at recruitment generally, and they have been for the last 20 years. So hopefully they'll get back to that, and this has just been a blip.
We were wondering, just finally, is it hotter than Leipzig? It looks quite nice where you are. What's the weather like?
It's horrific, mate. Honestly, I'm in the shade, and honestly, I'm melting when I go into the sun. This is the worst kind of weather you could possibly imagine. It's terrible. It's well above 27 here. I'm not quite sure what the temperature is back home. Something similar, I'm sure. But it's truly, truly horrible out here. So
get used to it for the World Cup.
Wow.
Save me.
Yeah, once you get... we'll catch up with you soon, Aid. Thanks very much.
Can't see Adrian.
There we are. There's Adrian Durham there.
Nice sunglasses
in Leipzig. Do you like
Ray-Bans, I thought, possibly?
Could be. We ask him. Ask who he's, It's going to be hot in the States. And it's that thing of where he's going to be. It's just that dry heat, isn't it? Where you go out the aircon and you kind of walk across a road and then you're just soaked.
It's the humidity, though.
Exactly. You're just absolutely soaked.
But look, they coped with it in the Club World Cup. It definitely affected the football.
Yeah.
And you saw on Saturday in the playoff final, players going down with cramp. It affects the pace of the games.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We shall see. World Cup, of course, 16 days away. Hard to believe. But Adrian will be with you tomorrow night as your host for Palace versus Rayo Vallecano. And I'm sure there'll be more build-up throughout the rest of the day and into tomorrow here on talkSPORT. So still to come, Sam Delaney, West Ham fan, plots a way forward for his beloved club. We'll be chatting to him. And yes, the Lionel Messi of cheese rolling will join us as well.
Lots of upheaval at your old club, West Ham United, as well. What's the first thing that they have to get right before the start of next season? Is it in the dugout?
No, it's players. I think recruitment's been the biggest reason why they've been relegated. I think it's obvious when you look at the squad in general, but certainly the signings from last summer, you think of the signings that certainly haven't worked. Fulkrug came and went, a player that was never suited to the way that West Ham play anyway. Mavropanos has got better, but wasn't very good. Todibo hasn't worked. Where are the midfield players? Again, you look at the squad list, they've got 3 midfield players really to choose from in terms of Premier League quality. So obviously the start of the season was terrible for them, and they've been a bit better. But when your manager looks to the starting 11, then looks to the bench, what are you able to bring on? It is the big difference with players coming back. Tottenham have players they could call upon that I think have still capable in the Premier League. I don't think West Ham have that.
Yeah. How did you feel as a former West Ham United player, learning, as Scott did this morning, that Jean-Claire Todibo pretty much refused to play in yesterday's game because of what happened at Newcastle?
I mean, if that's true, it's disgraceful. Of course it is. There's no way you shouldn't want to be part of saving the club from relegation. You could tell how angry he was. He blanked the manager at St James's Park when he was brought off. He was so poor in the game anyway. Should really have been looking inwardly at himself, not the fact it was him that was taken off. You just hope that sort of attitude. I don't think that's the norm. I think there is a harmonious dressing room
because they've been fighting together,
yes, they have,
haven't they? Since
exactly.
they lost Paqueta in February.
You can question some of the manager's decisions in terms of the starting 11 and the system. Certainly at Newcastle, you can talk about maybe the odd really bad performance. You can't have a go at the players for a lack of effort and desire. Those that have been playing, I think I've very much seen that, and I thought that was going to be enough to keep them in the Premier League.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. Manchester United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. He'd averaged almost a goal every 2 games for Arsenal, but in his 45 matches for United, he only bagged 5. Next up, Radamel Falcao, dubbed El Tigre, or the Tiger. But at Old Trafford, he was a little more pussycat, to be honest. All the Colombian managed in 29 games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone worse for Jadon Sancho at United, with just 12 goals in 83 games. And it all ended after that very public spat with then-manager Erik ten Hag. Next, Ten Hag probably thought he was wise in sticking to what he knew when he brought in Antony from former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian has really not been able to hack it in the Prem. The curse of the famous number 7 shirt has also had its share of victims. As well as the aforementioned Sanchez, Memphis Depay found he couldn't follow in the footsteps of Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and Best. He netted just 7 in 53 appearances. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the title for over a decade, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Hotspur 1, Everton 0, Tottenham survived, West Ham are relegated.
Did they do enough this season to stay in the Premier League? I don't think they did.
It's going to be fun. We've got Millwall, we've got Charlton. What's not to love about that?
Fans at West Ham have to take some responsibility.
It's going to be so difficult to get that Championship squad in alignment to maintain the challenge.
You can't have a go at the players for a lack of effort and desire.
Managers come and go, players come and go, but the constant emanates very much from David Sullivan.
No certainty at the minute about bouncing straight back. And if we do go down again, and there's a few people that think we will see League One before we see the Premier League again, I don't know what to expect.
That's a bit negative, isn't it?
Well, tough weekend for West Ham. This relegation was confirmed. It's interesting, Ali McCoy say earlier on that he felt, because of his previous to getting a team out of that league, maybe stick with Nuno, but you know he's on big money and everything. That could have a bearing on it.
The fans are not having him either.
Joining us now, West Ham fan, podcaster, journalist, author, Sam Delaney. Hi, Sam.
Hello, fellas.
So, I suppose, how are you feeling about life as a West Ham fan at the moment? I say there were some pretty pessimistic ones in that little package, especially the guy at the end. He's already contemplating League One by the sound of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a tough thing to cope with relegation, but, you know, us West Ham fans have been through it a number of times before. And so I think my way of coping is to just look forward, not back. I mean, there's no point in being bitter or recriminations. I think this had been coming for a few years. I think anyone who watches West Ham regularly knows anything about the way the club is run, knew it was coming. Fans had been saying this for a long time. There's a small sense of it. We've been put out of our misery. And now there's an opportunity, whether or not we'll take it, I don't know, to reset, because there's a lot wrong with the club, huge amount wrong. And maybe this is the wake-up call that's needed. I feel that one of the problems is that the club was run for many years on the basis that to just survive in the Premier League is good business. It's good in itself, which is a point of view. And a lot of club owners, you know, take that attitude, because we've seen what happens when you kind of shoot for the stars and it doesn't quite go right. That can ruin a club long term. West Ham not really been running with any sort of consistent strategy for a number of years. And we knew this was coming, and now we're down. And I'm just looking forward. And as much as it sounds absurd when fans go, oh, quite looking forward to a year in the Championship, it'll be fun. To be honest, it's been a tough few years. Ever since really we won that Conference League, and even that season in the league had been a really tough slog. You know, so it's been 4 or 5 years. It's been kind of a slog, and there's been things going wrong. And now I'm thinking, well, you know, we'll have a season. Hopefully, I'm being optimistic that if we get the decisions right this summer, we will bounce straight back up, which is what we did last time we were relegated about 12 years ago. We made the very pragmatic and shrewd decision, one of the few, possibly the only shrewd and, you know, sensible decision I feel that our owner has made since he's owned the club, was hiring Sam Allardyce to just get us straight back up. And that's what he did. And we built from there. And we had 12 years in the Premier League, some of which were enjoyable. And I think that we need to get this summer right. You know, in previous summers, we've procrastinated so much on who the manager's going to be, what the transfer policy is going to be, who's going in, who's going out. Meanwhile, our competitors just kind of move on and get it all done. I really hope that doesn't happen now, because even today, you know, the news yesterday was Nuno's going in and they're going to sever the ties with him. Today it's moved. We just heard in the news bulletin there. They might keep him on, but they want to speak to other people first. That doesn't feel like a good way of managing someone who you might want to keep, but it is classic David Sullivan. We've seen him do it again and again. You know, we've seen him speak to managers while David Moyes was still in charge. You know, David Moyes was messed around like this for years. So was Sam Allardyce. Any previous West Ham manager will tell similar stories. So I just hope we're not going down that path again. Feels like we might do. Whether or not David Sullivan will still be in charge by the end of the summer, you know, that's another matter, because I think that, you know, it's an interesting situation at the top of the club at the moment. Daniel Kwetsinski has now become like the equal shareholder with David Sullivan. So there's some ambiguity about who's going to make the final call on these decisions. And I feel that Kwetsinski is the guy who wants to keep Nuno on, and Sullivan is the one who wants to get shot of him. So we could be about to see a power struggle, which could just make a messy situation even worse.
Would you keep him? Would you like to see Nuno stay? Do you think he's the man to get you back up?
I'm in two minds about it. I think he's a very good, experienced manager who's got a team promoted before, a fantastic Wolves team, in fact, quite a few years ago. And I think that he really did improve West Ham in the second half of the season and really improve some individual players. So I wouldn't put it this way. I wouldn't be disappointed if we kept him on. I think he'd give us as good a chance as anyone as getting promoted. But if he chose to leave, especially if they're saying, "Could you just hang around?" I mean, you wouldn't say that to a partner, would you?
Yeah, no.
Like to a girlfriend. Listen.
I'm going to propose. I'm definitely going to propose. I've got some others to see first. So,
I'm not ruling out marrying you, but there's a few girls that I'm talking to, and I just want to see what they're offering.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not great, is it? That's
can
true.
I just ask you to hold on while I see what else is out there?
Just a couple of weeks. Yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if he just thought, you know what, you're okay. I'll leave. I could get, you know, Nuno will probably get another job in the Premier League or in Portugal. However, if we kept him, I think I'd be happy. I don't, you know, Sullivan has never hired a manager for West Ham that he's had to buy out of another job. So what we've always done is hire managers who've just been sacked, usually due to failure at another club, which sometimes works, but on the whole is not a great policy. And the policy of the club appears to be he will never pay compensation. Pay big money for certain players, most of which goes down the drain, but never for a manager. And on that basis, you wonder whether or not, you know, the alternatives to Nuno are going to be that good. So if Nuno has enthusiasm and a plan, I would be behind the idea of keeping him.
That's interesting. Player clear out, though, is interesting because Tom Rennie is talking about like Wan-Bissaka could go to Everton, Kilman, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Fulkrug, Areola, Magassa, all without much value, he says, but getting their wages gone would make a big difference.
And obviously, there's players in demand like Fernandes, players like that. There's some talk of £150 million clear out. I mean, there's players there. Bowen, you're likely to lose as well. I don't know. Maybe Bowen will give you.
I've got a feeling he might.
With the family connections, he might can't give you that one more year and get you out. The thing is, at 29 though, unless he's got one more big move in him, and it probably isn't as big as West Ham fans would like it to be. Because at 29, you're not maybe going to get the money you would have done a couple of years ago. But I think, you know, if he can give you another year, he could be pretty instrumental.
I think, if we could keep hold of him and Souček, who are the closest we've got to kind of leaders in our club, and I would regard both of them as legends, really, then I think we've got something to build around. But I think it's going to be tough to do so. He's still got he signed a 7-year contract with us, Bowen. There's still 4 years of it left. It's big money. Whether or not, I think at his age, I'm not sure whether or not the big Champions League clubs who might have been wanting to buy him for 100 million a couple of years ago, it doesn't seem like value now. So he's, you know, we're not going to get as big money, and he might not get wages as good as the one as he's on. I think there's a clause in all the players' contract they have to take a 50% pay cut. However, that's not to say the club might make an exception, say to Bone, look, if you stay for 1 year, we'll continue to pay you the same money. Just show us that back in. We'll have to see. I think that if they did that, he would have the willingness to stay. I think he loves the club. He probably feels a certain amount of responsibility, but I don't know whether it will be feasible financially because we need to raise money quite clearly. Even if we'd stayed up, we had a huge gap in our finances because, you know, the club's been run pretty badly. You know, you got to remember this is we've got a stadium that we pay a very small rent on and fill out every single week, 62,000 people for the last 10 years. You know, there is money coming into the club, but for some reason there's even more going out, and there's a huge gap. So there's a huge gap to fill. So we will sell Fernandes and Somerville for sure. That would probably raise the best part of 100 between those two. But then after that, you know, quite rightly, there's a lot of players who we want to get off the wage bill who are worth almost nothing. And therefore, we're going to have to sell. If a decent offer comes in for Bowen, even if he wants to stay, I would imagine the club owners saying, well, you've got to go because we need the dough. And that'll be a shame, but it'll be understandable. And I think, you know, there is no West Ham fan in the world who would ever resent Bowen in any way, shape or form if he had to leave now. He's not going to, he'll forever be a hero to West Ham fans.
Sam, a pleasure as always, even in difficult times. We will catch up. What are you up to at the minute?
Well, Top Flight Time Machine is still thriving
Excellent.
after all these years, and you can catch that every day. You can listen to it for free Mondays and Fridays. The U-Irons podcast is stumbling along despite the relegation, and a paperback of my book is just come out last month, which you can go and buy. I can never say the title because it's got a swear word in it, but it's about men and mental health, and it's called "Stop Worrying So Much." That's the polite way of saying it.
It's a really, you came in and chatted. It's an excellent book. I do recommend it. So give our best to Andy Dawson. He'll be flying at the moment, and the other half
contrasting fortunes for the two of us.
Big Sunderland fan, of course. He does Top Flight Time Machine with Sam. Cheers, Sam. All the best.
Cheers, lads. All the best. Bye-bye.
Sam Delaney there, broadcaster, journalist and West Ham fan. And I said yesterday, I'll take no pleasure from them going down because we were that close. It so easily could have been us. So it is a real there but for the great. And a lot of the things that Sam is saying there, about the running of the club is equally true on the Tottenham front as well. So
a lot of clubs.
One of us had to get away with it. And obviously I'm delighted it was us, but blimey, it was close. Anyway, Chris Anderson, 23-time cheese rolling champion. He's a Guinness World Record holder. He came out of retirement yesterday to take on the German YouTuber Tom Kopka at Cooper's Hill in Gloucester, chasing a cheese down the hill. In case you missed it, I did kind of spoil it at the top of the show, but if you did miss the top of the show, how did he get on? Did he do it? We'll find out very, very shortly. You're listening to Hawksbee and Jacobs on talkSPORT and in partnership with Toolstation. First stop, Toolstation.
You're going down next season.
No, we're not going down, mate.
You're going down, mate.
No, even you know that. Even you know that.
Well, why am I saying it?
Well, because you know that's not going to happen.
What do we know? No, I don't say things.
You know that's never going to happen.
Well,
we had this season was an absolute joke.
And what's going to change?
Well, everything's going to change.
Well, okay, name it.
Well, starting one with the manager. Right. The manager's come in and he's got results kept us up.
Right, okay.
He won't allow.
You said that last season.
No, we got Thomas Frank in the summer, and that was the wrong appointment. This is the right appointment.
Okay. But you said that last summer.
So everything will change.
You got a new manager. You said that.
They won't allow that. They won't allow that to happen.
And you can't allow. You can't.
They won't allow that to happen.
You've not got a magic wand.
You can't sit there and say that Spurs are going to go down, mate.
I'm saying you now. You will be in a relegation battle this season.
Jace,
promise you.
Mate, shut up. What are you on about?
You're one of my favourites to go down.
What are you on about?
You can't just flip. Honestly, you've been in football all your life. You can't flick a switch and just think we're Spurs. You were Spurs last year, and you're Spurs this season.
Well, that's absolute garbage.
Have gone through the same thing.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's
teams
worse.
Finished 17th, and then they sort themselves out.
Did you get better or worse?
What? We've got more points this season.
Did you get better or worse?
Well, technically, we got better.
Did you get better or worse?
Factually, we got better. Because we got 30. We got 38 points last season. We got 41 this season. Good season.
See, this is the
good season.
This is the arrogance and the naivety of you, and you're just Spurs, mate.
No, but listen, I'm up for a laugh. Listen, I'm all up for a laugh, right? And it has been.
You're going down next season.
Oh, we're not. Oh, Jace.
You're going down, mate.
Jace.
You're going down.
Jace. Come on, mate.
EFL Roundup. Come on, mate. It's coming. All you've done.
I know you want to keep the narrative alive, right? Just for your own little self-worth.
What do you mean self-worth?
Oh, you want to keep it alive. You keep your little EFL roundups and keep your little Ange masks and keep all that garbage that you've done all season.
What do you mean garbage?
Load of old guff. All right, load of old guff. And it's only been good because Spurs have been crap. All right, so I know you want to keep it going, but you can't sit
24 months.
You can't sit there with a straight face and say Spurs are going to go down.
Right, next season, you're hearing this.
Get a full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
I'm going to put it out there now, right? I'm going to phone the boss. All right, I'm in the break. I'm phoning the boss, not the mid boss, the big boss. All right.
Okay.
They're getting deleted from the archive.
What's going to get deleted?
Never to be seen again. EFL Roundup cannot be played on this station one more time. All right, because Spurs are in the Premier League. So forget your little EFL roundup.
A full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT. Get ready to get the ultimate football fan winning feeling with talkSPORT Win.
Yes, listen up. We're into the final week with the 2026 FIFA World Cup almost upon us. Thanks to Adidas, the tournament's official match ball supplier. talkSPORT sending you and a friend to Dallas, Texas. You could be at England's first game against Croatia, June 17, with return flights, accommodation, spending money, tickets, and the official Adidas match ball, the Tri-Onda, all thrown in. So ready to get that winning feeling? Here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard net rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 4 p.m. on Monday. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a talkSPORT promotion. It's not a promotion, it's a promotion.
Okay.
All T's and C's at talksportwin.com. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now.
Good luck. Anyway, every spring bank holiday, the eyes of the world are on Cooper's Hill in Gloucester, and in Gloucestershire, should I say, to watch the annual cheese rolling. Yesterday, apparently, was billed as the Great Cheese Off, with our next guest coming out of retirement. He's won it more than any other person over the years, and he came out of retirement to take on the young pretender, 24-year-old German YouTuber Tom Kopker. I believe won it last year and was coming back.
I think this was his third win in a row.
Wow. So, let's chat then to the man they call the Lionel Messi of cheese chasing. It is Chris Anderson. Good afternoon, Chris.
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, commiserations. I'm sure you were hoping to get it done yesterday. What's made Tom so good? I mean, you know, you're the best place to, having won it 23 times. What's Tom good at?
He's basically got a similar technique to what I used to have. It's cheese rolling's a young man's game. I'm on the wrong side of 30.
Okay. Is that because it's so dangerous and you sort of need to be a bit of a daredevil to do it?
Do you lose your nerve as you get older and you have kids and everything? Is that it, Chris, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I was really scared yesterday of going down the hill, which I'm not normally. Still gave it a good race. I led it for like halfway, but I found Tom managed to get back up on his feet quickest and sprint to the end.
We had a mate who's sadly no longer with us, Andy Smart, and he was a daredevil. He went into the Cresta run. He did the running of the balls over 50 times.
Yeah.
He did Cooper's Hill once, and he said never again. He said, I don't mind doing dangerous stuff, but that's nuts. And you do get a lot of injuries, don't you?
Yeah. One of my best mates was in the same race as me yesterday, and he broke his arm. So there is risk to it.
What about you? Have you had any? Have you avoided injuries over the years?
Broke my ankle and bruised my kidneys. And this year I just come away with a big cut on my knee. So not too bad.
And people haven't seen it, and I'd be surprised because it's a kind of great old British staple, really. And it gets lots of coverage when it happens. And it's an incredibly steep hill. And it's really bumpy, and you're going very, very fast. And there's lots of other people potentially you can kind of crash into you. So it's just dangerous. So what has been your secret then to winning it so many times? What's the key if anybody's thinking maybe you're doing it next year?
You've just got to have a complete disregard for your own safety and just run as fast as you can. And when you do fall over, you just got to try and get up the fastest.
I suppose adrenaline, I mean, if you do go over, adrenaline will get you at the bottom, then you probably realise you've done yourself some damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally by the time you get to the bottom, you're not noticing the pain too bad. I did hurt like both knees this year, but nothing serious.
Presumably the going.
I felt all right.
Yeah, the going must affect things, mustn't it? Because
what do you mean, the going good to soft in
well,
places?
If it's soft, if there's been a lot of rain, it must be easier than when it's hard.
That's true. I mean, the sort of weather leading into it must have a bearing on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so last year it was like rock hard because we'd had like so much sun before the event, but this year we've like had constant rain for weeks in Brockworth, and then literally 5 days ago this heat wave sort of started. So the hill was actually pretty good. It was quite soft underfoot.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
Well, that's good to
What
hear.
about this thing you said about going the other way?
There's an uphill. I see. Did I read that one of your children won one of the uphill races? So tell us, how does that work? They haven't got to chase it uphill, have they? How does it work? Have we lost Chris? I think we were struggling with the line a little bit. Maybe we'll never know how the uphill race. If you were there, I think we're kind of out of time anyway. But Chris, if you can still hear us, thank you very much. Commiserations, 23-time cheese rolling champion, Guinness World Record holder. He's won it more than anybody else. And blimey, if Andy Smart wouldn't do it, he's a brave person who wants to do it again.
Crazy.
But yeah, go and check out the pictures. They're online.
They tried to ban it at some point.
I think they have. They've had sort of health and safety. I think they've realised they're missing with a great British tradition. You know, global. I mean, lots of people coming from all over the world to take part in it. So there we are, the Lionel Messi of cheese chasing.
Tremendous.
It does sound like a terrible euphemism every time I say it, but it isn't. That's exact fact. Lob a cheese down the hill when everybody goes after it, and that's it. Anyway, still to come.
Suarez would be better, like diving down the hill.
Yes, it would be very good. All those rolls you could get in. Cheese rolls. Andy Milne's going to join us. England super fan. Apparently, we've discovered he sold his house to get to this World Cup. While we're at it, we're going to be in New York chatting to Brian Sciaretta. Maurizio Pochettino announced his squad yesterday. What's the reaction been? We'll chat to him. Bilal Zafar, comedian, podcaster, streamer, an Arsenal fan, popping in to see us to chat about his new show and reflect on the title and, of course, look ahead to the weekend's Champions League final, which will be live on talkSPORT.
Interestingly, we just want to get your sort of on this whole players, you know, seeing what people say about them and seeing what people write about them. And just quickly, this is what Gabby Agbonlahor had to say on a player yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. We were talking about Spurs and their staying up on the last day. And he had this to say about Vicario.
These players should have been walking around the pitch on their hands and knees saying sorry to the fans. And Vicario, I'm watching the game. I'm listening to the commentary. We're going there. We're spot on. This goalkeeper has done nothing in a Spurs shirt. Been dreadful. And there's a clip of him offering out Seamus Coleman. Vicario, we've seen you punch, mate. You can't punch the ball. You're not going to be able to punch anybody. So we know you can't fight. So have some respect for a Premier League legend in Seamus Coleman. But that summed up Vicario yesterday. All over the sideline, trying to be a coach and jumping on the manager's back when they scored the first goal. Paulinho, I think, is an embarrassment to that football club. I'll get rid of him.
So that was Gabby talking yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. And talkSPORT put it on their Instagram. And what happened? Vicario commented saying, scary. And Gabby then replied, calling him a bluffer. So, Ali, what are your thoughts on players coming back and hitting back at what pundits are saying about them?
No, I think that they're entitled to their opinion, aren't they? If the pundit's entitled to give their opinion, they're entitled to have a right to reply. But I'm not too sure I've been getting involved in it. I think they've got far bigger issues and other things to concentrate on. I understand sometimes players needs or feel the right to defend themselves. They should always have that and have the right to do that. But I just think sometimes you wouldn't want to be getting yourself involved in what can turn into a petty argument. When I'm not saying you should be above that, but you've got more important things to worry about. Listen, there's no difference to a pundit having an opinion than there is a punter having an opinion, and we've had it since football began. That will not change. I'm with Jeff on the Fernandes thing. I think Fernandes has been brilliant this season. I really do. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. I'm a wee bit surprised he got himself involved in that kind of stuff, and I'm a little bit surprised Vicario is getting himself.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Julien Laurent, French football expert, here later on to chat about his definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe, which is out this week. But first, Max Scott has the sports headlines.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, good afternoon. Now Pep Guardiola's out the picture, Arsenal legend Emmanuel Petit expects a new era of dominance with Mikel Arteta.
It's very hard to win the Premier League, but, I think the momentum of City is symbolized, with Pep Guardiola. If this guy leaves the club, the door is open.
Arsenal versus PSG in the Champions League final is live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Elsewhere, we understand West Ham will speak to potential replacements before deciding whether to sack Nuno Espirito Santo. Scott Parker's one of those names, but Simon Jordan's not convinced he's the right long-term replacement.
It's about what is the better alternative. It's very easy to sit there and go, well, you know what, he deserves to be sacked. What are you going to replace him with? If you're going to replace him with someone that's going to... Scott Parker, maybe, because it's playing to the gallery, he's a championship manager that can get you promoted to the Premier League, then what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him in a year's time?
We're also told West Ham's owners will need to dip into their pockets to keep them afloat while they try and bounce back to the Premier League. In transfer news, we're told Liverpool will block Alisson's exit from the club this summer. The goalkeeper's unhappy the club have U-turned on Juventus' offer of a 3-year deal. The Italian giants are also looking to hijack Spurs' move for Andy Robertson, but he's still favourite to take that move to North London. Meanwhile, Spurs are keen on bringing in Savinho from Manchester City. Everton are interested in bringing in Aaron Wan-Bissaka from newly relegated West Ham, and Jamie Vardy will leave Cremonese following their relegation from Serie A. Get all the latest transfer news on our website, talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
4 teenagers have drowned during the bank holiday heatwave, and a rape case in which 2 teenage boys avoided jail is heading to the Court of Appeal. Emma's got more at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The weather's hotter than a barbecue on a bank holiday. So score an aircon recharge at your local QuickFit. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Another very hot day across much of England and Wales. Fresher across northern areas with sunny spells. Maybe a few thundery showers across England and Wales later this afternoon.
Paddy's Pick on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Can you guess who's made the headlines this week? 18 plus, be careful aware, don't talk.
Time now for this week's Paddy's Pick in association with our official betting partner Paddy Power. In Paddy's Pick, I'll ask Andy to identify a mystery sporting personality who is Paddy's Pick of the week. And you're going to get 5 clues to work out who it is. We'll start with £50 in the pot for every clue you use or the correct answer. £10 gets taken away. So Paddy's Pick, all for charity, raising funds for Duchenne UK. I've not turned the page yet. I don't know what it's going to be. Andy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. This is Paddy's Pick. Who is it? Okay. This week's pick is a former midfielder who is in the news as he... this is not doing you any favours. As he returns to the Premier League.
Former midfielder in the news as he returns to the Premier League.
All I'm saying, he's not returning to the Premier League as a player.
No, he's going to be returning as a manager, presumably.
Yeah. Well, he's a former, of course. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Who's in former?
Who was it? It was Hull that came up, but that's not a former player.
No.
Frank Lampard?
It isn't Frank Lampard. Okay. Club-wise, there is an association. I'm going to give you a bit of help, because this second one, after playing for AC Milan's youth team, you know this person is. You know a lot about this person. Right. You wouldn't have known that, I'm guessing.
No.
He started his professional playing career at West Bromwich Albion. Does that ring any bells? Do you know much about this person as a player? He's just landed a new job. Someone you know a fair bit about. He just landed a big new job.
I can't think. Honestly, my brains are really woolly today. I don't know. No idea.
Yeah, well,
sorry.
I'm told it's not official, but we all know it's going to happen. So, no? Okay.
See, well, it's not official. It's going to happen.
Well, it looks like they're going to get...
Oh, is it Maresca?
It is Maresca. Congratulations.
Of course he played for West Brom. Yeah. And he was... we got that.
It is Enzo Maresca. He joined Juventus in the year 2001, Serie A in 2000. But people say, why are you helping him? It's for charity, for goodness sake. Paddy can afford it. And some of these clues seem to go out their way. It's like someone who doesn't like your charity.
I know.
They're very hard. He joined Juventus in 2001, Serie A in 2002. I wouldn't know hardly anything about Maresca as a player, would you?
Not particularly. I mean,
he went on to play for clubs. Would you know he was a Sevilla player and won the Copa del Rey? Wouldn't have had a clue.
Not really, no.
Would you know he won the Super Copa de España? If you run into him in Harrods next week, you're going to say congratulations on the Super Copa de España win, Enzo.
No.
And he won a Super Cup and a UEFA Cup. As an Italian youth international, he scored 13 goals in... Again... You could have been here on a tenner. I'm not going to do that to you.
Ridiculous.
He started his coaching career at Manchester City, went to Parma, Leicester and Chelsea. You would have got it at that.
I would have got that one, yeah, for about a tenner.
Yeah, but we make sure we got your 40 quid. It is Enzo Maresca. He's Paddy's pick of the week for returning to City as Pep's replacement. That's what it says here. The producer in my ear saying it's not confirmed yet. But I think, sorry, Andy, not your tea. We think it's all...
No, it's not going to happen, is it?
We all know it's going to
happen. No, it's not going to happen. We've only known about it for 3 months, but it's not going to happen. It's fine.
He's just covering his own back. That's right. In case the City fans think it is official. So there we are. That was Paddy's pick for our good friends at Paddy Power with Deshen UK. £40 for them. Official H&J betting partner, 18 plus, only begambleaware.org.
Paddy's pick on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Can you guess who's made the headlines this week? 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Talking of charity, live this afternoon from James Madison Charity Golf Day, I believe this year. Dementia Charities. I don't know if he's playing. He's broadcasting with Benty.
Okay.
But they'll have a sort of full raft of sporting and non-sporting stars. I see a lot of football guests there. Saw Luke Humphries as well from the world of darts. So
lovely day for it.
It'll be a starry old day from Centurion, and you'll hear Andy and Benty at 4 from James Madison's Golf Day and all the guests.
Excellent. Now, talking of Pep, Mick Hargreaves wrote to The Sun with this tribute. It's fabulous, honestly.
Yeah.
A fond farewell to Manchester City's brilliant manager, Pep Guardiola. Though I won't miss his constant pitch-side spitting. It's brilliant, isn't it?
I mean,
that's what I think about Pep when I think about his career.
I mean, I know it's not the first thing, but that nervous little bit of white spittle that was always there.
Yeah, a bit of nervous.
Constantly when he was doing the game. He was just, he had his own technique. I mean, if they had the World Spitting Championship.
It's true.
Which I'm guessing they do at somewhere.
I've no idea.
But he'd be in the frame, certainly.
I love that, though.
Did you see, there's a bronze model of Queen Victoria in St Leonards-on-Sea in East Sussex. And Jokers, it says here, have put a model of a walnut whip on Queen Victoria's head.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. It did remind me of the one in Glasgow, the famous one of the Duke of Wellington on a horse in Glasgow, which, because she's apparently, Queen Victoria's had a traffic cone's gone on the head a few times.
Oh, yeah.
But, so they've gone with the walnut whip. But have you seen the one in Glasgow? It's like, it's celebrated now, where there's generally, there's just have you not seen it?
I have seen it, but I can't remember it.
The traffic cone there on there.
Oh, yeah,
that's showing
right,
Andy. Banksy says it's his favourite work of art.
Is it a Banksy?
No, it isn't a Banksy.
Oh, right.
But he just loves... He loves the fact that, I think, is it true that it started out as a sort of football thing, that someone did it around a match? I don't know. Maybe I should look into it a bit more. Yeah. Yeah, the 2002 Champions League final, the cone was replaced by a football pattern hat bearing the logo of one of the tournament sponsors. You don't want it being used by marketing people, do you? No. So if you've got any tales of... statue enhancement, we'd be interested in hearing from you this afternoon.
Enhanced statue games.
Yeah, the enhanced statue games. We'll talk about that. Conversations you thought you never had. Myself and Andy had a chat about whether the pyramids were built by humans or extraterrestrials. We had that conversation. With Spencer Oliver, the former boxer and boxing pundit. So one of the weirdest conversations. I said, get down Waterstones and buy Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. It wasn't a conversation we were expecting to have today.
I did a watch-along on the original build.
Did you? You were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Whilst having a conversation with a stranger on a bus about musical heroes, says Adi from Reading, I thought I'd tell him an interesting fact about Damon Albarn from Blur. Before I could get my words out, he said, he whistles on his S's, doesn't he? And he said, well, I was just about to say that.
Really? I've never noticed.
He thought that was his theory. He thought no one else had noticed it. He said, I was quite broken. It was ruined by a stranger on a bus.
I've never noticed that about Damon Albarn.
Okay, got a little bit of a lisp on his S's.
Has he?
Yeah.
Or that sort of thing like that.
Well, I'm going to be listening for it now.
I will. I think I'll try and get.
But anyway, unlikely conversations you thought you'd never have. Talksport.com, text 8 tweet TSH and J.
I was telling you this morning about a wonderfully new pointless app.
Yes.
To detect if replica kit is fake or not.
I don't know if it's pointless, but I mean,
is it really needed? I mean, it's so obvious. The normal shirts are sold in reputable places for about 70 odd quid, and ones in the market for about 20 quid are not going to be.
Yeah. But if you go online and someone says brand new England shirt building up to the World Cup, and you buy it, say, online, and you're told it's real, and then that app tells you whether it's moody or not.
But will it tell you that?
If it's got 2 lions on it, there's a few things you can look out for, I suppose.
2 lions.
2 lions on a shirt. That's often a sign it's fake. But I mean, if you know, I think if you're buying, let's say you're buying overseas.
Yeah,
from
or
a company,
in markets and things.
Or no, I'm talking about online. You know.
What about that one Moose Sport in the World Cup? That Neymar shirt.
That was off. He bought that off
a street vendor.
A street vendor in Brazil, and it was the neckline. It was like he had a cleavage in it, didn't he? Really,
wasn't great.
It wasn't.
I keep thinking about the neckline.
There was something. I mean, it kind of felt he should have had a string of pearls when he was wearing it. Really, because it was quite a troubling look, wasn't it?
It wasn't good, really.
I mean, a lot of the copies that you see in Brazil are very good, but he managed to find a really bad one.
Very much.
I imagine it was very cheap. Anyway, if you've got, I mean, look, hooky shirts, we don't condone it, but telltale signs on a hooky shirt. Maybe you want to tell us some of your stories this afternoon. Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717 223344. We're going to be joined in the studio by Andy Milne. And you know Andy, sometimes regarded a bit of a Steve McLaren lookalike.
Yes.
He has been going to...
He hasn't got a McLaren Island.
He hasn't got the McLaren. He's got a full head of hair. 40 years, 9 World Cups. He's going to tell us, he's told his story in a fine new book, The World Cup Guy, That World Cup Guy. And Andy's going to pop in and see us in a few moments' time to chat about the book and the upcoming World Cup, which, of course, he is heading to. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station. Only got time for one stop. First stop, Tool Station.
They came mightily close, Emmanuel, to being relegated. And as I mentioned there, 2 consecutive 17th place finishes. And he's saying, 10 to 12 of these guys can stay on. You know, we've got, in other words, we have quite a number of them that can crack on next season. Does he have those players? Does he have as many as that who could do them a job next season? I mean, how many of this group go forward long term, do you think, with De Zerbi?
Well, if you point the finger at the players, I think everyone will say this exactly the same. They don't deserve to play at Tottenham. But if you look at the whole situation, take an X-ray, for the last 2-3 seasons, you realize that there is no serenity and on the bench. They have changed so many managers. And since Levy left the club last season, I think many people in the board have made so much mistakes, And I think the chief executive, I can't remember his name, but I think he has to take responsibility as well. So, of course, the players have a huge responsibility because when you look at the squad, when you look at the money they have, everything, the new stadium, the fan base, I think this club should have played, for European places. But if you look at the whole situation, I think, for me, I don't understand what's going on at Spurs, in terms of sport vision. I don't see it, because when things doesn't go the way they want, they fire the manager. When they don't want this player, they take another one. That reminds me so many clubs, the policy of so many clubs, and they are wrong. You have to stick with your vision. But what is the vision actually at Tottenham? There is no vision at all because the manager changed every single 3-4 months. So you have to come back on what it means, to get a team, which means for me, they have to change the mentality inside the club because I don't see the same Spurs team, the same club I used to see for years and years,
Yeah.
The mentality for me is the worst.
And if they don't change this vision, they're looking at a third.
You can take the best player in the world if you want. Look
Yeah.
at Manchester United. If you don't change the mentality of the team, it will never happen.
Now, you'll certainly know our next guest. The cameras always find him at England games. He's clutching a replica of the World Cup trophy. Of course, it's Andy Milne. He's now written the story of his adventures, that World Cup guy. 40 years, 9 World Cups, one fan's incredible journey. And he's with us in the studio. Good afternoon, Andy.
Thank you very much for having me on.
It's a great pleasure. So let's go right back to the beginning. How did you kind of get into this fight? Was it always your intention to make it something that you did, or was it just a kind of one-off, but you got the bug after
The World Cup?
Turn
my phone off.
No worries.
Okay.
That's probably somebody telling you're on the radio.
Yeah,
Andy.
that's
what
it. Yeah. You're on the radio.
That's what normally happens.
That's what it will be. So in 1982, England hadn't been in the World Cup since 1970. So I was a 7-year-old the last time they were in, and then as a 19-year-old, I'd spent my entire youth without watching England at the World Cup, and the whole country was getting really, really excited. And about 3 days beforehand, I just made a spur-of-the-moment decision to hitchhike over to Spain, take whatever money I could with me, and catch a ferry over and go and watch the World Cup.
So you had no tickets or anything?
No, tickets in those days, you could queue up for them outside the ground.
Wow.
In fact, I queued up for my World Cup final ticket over there. It was a 3-day queue outside the ground, which sounds terrible, but it was actually great fun. It was lots and lots of other lads. Yeah, great camaraderie, playing footballs, frisbee, having a kebab and a beer.
As long as you don't lose your place in the queue. But
that's right.
Queue etiquette, you mean?
Yeah, that's
your
right.
ticket. You've got you put in there the '82 final Italy-Germany game. You went and your ticket cost you £4.15. 800 pesetas.
800 pesetas, I remember that. Well, yeah, £4.15. That's, and even in today's money, that's not an awful lot. It's not an awful lot at all. It was a very, very different game. Though.
You're in a great position to have monitored how World Cups have changed over the years.
Yeah.
And this next one is going to be even more changed with more teams. I mean,
they've got bigger, not necessarily for the better, would you say, Andy, or not?
I quite like the bigger. I know that I'm there's not so many that agree with me, but I do like to see some of the sort of the less nations, the smaller nations, some of the other confederations that don't get so many come in, and there aren't many. Like at the last World Cup at Qatar, there weren't many nonsense matches, were there? We had some incredible. In inverted commas, giant killing acts, and big teams being sent home early, and that. So I'm not against the increase in the number per se, but the cost and the accessibility is crazy.
Yeah. What was your favourite of the ones you've been to? Where do you think they kind of?
It's always the
pitched it
one. It's always the
absolutely right?
one I'm at, really. But
Yeah.
you know, so in a strange way, it was Qatar, the one that everybody feared. But the whole of that World Cup was in one city, so you were able to stay in one place. You didn't have to move around. You could go and see different matches. In fact, I saw 2 matches in a day. And when you went out during the day, you went to the souk or whatever, and people are buying their spices or having a look at the Falcons. There's every single nation at the World Cup is there together, and it was a great feeling. It was great.
Whereas it was a winter World Cup, so the football was better. And, it was, and the temperatures were better. There was a lot to be said for that World Cup.
But there is something good about that sort of transit when you're at a World Cup. And like the Argentinians move out because they're going, and then the Swedes move in. Something about that.
I love that as well. I guess another one that I really liked was South Africa, where there were 4 of us travelling around. Steve, a young South African, and 3 of us from England. And Steve just organised a braai. They call it a barbecue. In every town, every city that we went to. It was fantastic. England weren't very good then. So we ended up following the Dutch and followed them through to the.
So you've written. We won't give away too many of the war stories in there, but you've had a few scrapes over the years. Have there ever been moments when you were properly scared about what could happen when you've been overseas at a World Cup?
You know, much more so at qualifications or at Euros. I think that's where the hooligan element has been, and that's where the foreign police really, find it very hard to control football fans properly sometimes.
And that reputation of England fans, you've probably witnessed that because even if you're not looking for trouble, by reputation, sometimes the police and the authorities think if you're wearing an England shirt, you are looking for trouble. It makes you a bit of a target, doesn't it?
I mean, in Spain in 1982, I was beaten by the police 3 times. Not chanting, not doing anything, just being part of a group that was being herded. I don't know if they still have them, but they have these long, hard, bendy rubber truncheons now. And it was just like a national sport for the police in those days.
But things have improved with it. Obviously, as it gets more expensive, people aren't just doing it for in and out for a couple of days tourism, maybe to cause trouble. You do see it sometimes around qualifiers and friendlies, especially around
Russia
Europe.
was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but so I mean, I think we've gone through that.
We control it as well, don't we? The England Supporters Travels Club done a fantastic job there. So the supporters who travel are vetted, and along with that, it means that those who are regularly going to matches get the caps and get awarded with a ticket. So it works well for us.
Has notoriety opened a few doors for you for sort of tickets? You get a bit of sponsorship of things like that going on?
I get a few deals. Tickets, no, I don't get anything on the tickets. But Hilton Hotels are putting me up.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, that's they got the mention. They got the mention they deserve for looking after you.
Yeah. I mentioned them many times.
Because it's not. I mean, there was a lot of stories saying you've sold your house, and you explained off air. It's not quite as clear cut as that, but you've freed up some cash because this is going to be an expensive World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very expensive World Cup. I mean,
10 grand, I reckon.
Well, yeah. World Cups are what I do. This is what I look forward to every 4 years. Some people, like an expensive car. Some people go on cruises. Some people even spend their money on Tottenham.
And because you've got a bit of notoriety, when you see probably not just England fans, because you've always been on. People recognise you from other countries. You've probably made a network of friends from different countries.
Really have. I'm looking forward to meeting Roops from Kansas over there. You got the twins from Mexico. We got who else am I meeting? Danny from Colombia. Stavros the Greek. He's over there. So you have a lot of good friends that I've met over the.
Did you do the USA '94?
I didn't. No, I was living in Australia at the time, and obviously England weren't there.
England weren't there.
Of course not. No, I'm not thinking.
Yeah.
No.
You had some great honours. David Squires with a little panel.
Yeah, that's a great little one, isn't it? Yeah.
Somebody's done a panini of you. That's quite cute.
That's
as
right.
well.
They did another panini of Sophie the Trophy as well.
Would you go if England? If England didn't make a World Cup going forward now, would you still go?
Oh yeah, It's I really look forward to it, and as we were just saying, there's a community around it. Look forward to meeting other people. So this is my 10th World Cup, 8 men's and 1 women previously, and I've been to the final of all those men's World Cups. So it's become a bit of an obsession, I guess.
Okay, the big question.
Yeah,
how are England going to do?
What do you think?
How are you feeling about it?
Oh, I don't know. We do have we do have a great squad, but there are some picks that were a little bit strange there. So I hope that Tuchel's doing the right thing. He seems to be picking for his style of play rather than on reputation.
Yeah, I think he's more Arsenal and more Arteta than Pep. I think he's more. That's going to be his methods, really. Lots of set plays and things like that. I think that's going to be key.
Who's your club team?
My club's Manchester United, so
Right.
I am gutted that Harry Maguire is not there.
Yeah, I think certainly he was, and his family were. They made that pretty clear, haven't they?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, certainly did.
So, tickets wise, you've got all your group stage tickets for the England game?
I've got tickets for every England match that there could be.
Yeah.
So if we're in the third place or we're in the final, I've got them all the way through.
Oh,
to
really?
either of those. So,
Brilliant.
yeah, so
And you're taking a few other games while you're out and about.
yeah,
aren't you?
I've got. I should have a ticket for the final if England don't get there as well, and I've got Curacao, the Ivory Coast. Matches like that, so
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Chance to go to Philadelphia, which we otherwise wouldn't have been to.
Yeah.
And looking at in Houston, maybe the Curacao again against Germany.
Oh, yes. So
it's,
you'll be writing a book about following Curacao.
Yeah, that's right.
Andy's book is called That World Cup Guy. All the stories from Andy's life on the road, watching England at World Cups. It's published by Pitch. It's out now in paperback. And good to see you, Andy. Enjoyed it. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, I really will. Thanks so much.
Maybe we'll catch up with you when you're out there. Thanks very much. It's Andy Milne there. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're going to continue talking World Cup. Brian Sciaretta, who I'm sure we'll be chatting to during the tournament, is a US soccer journalist. We're going to get his take on Poch's USA squad and just to get a general feel of how they're feeling with the World Cup just 16 days away.
Now, Simon, you're going to enjoy this. Producer Luke from the other side of the glass, come on through. Ladies and gentlemen, Simon and I often talk about producer Luke. Here is producer Luke coming around here.
Can you just say your name, what you do in your life, and everything?
Tell us about the best.
Listen, I am. You did say if we win it, I've got to come in and apologise. So I'm doing that. I'm holding my word. So. Manu, I'm sorry. I'm on the Arsenal. There you go.
Don't be sorry to me. Be sorry to the Arsenal fans everywhere in the world.
Me and every other Arsenal fan. We're all losing faith. You too as well.
Good man. Good man.
Well done. He's a man of his word, which counts for a lot these days.
I tried to forget this morning anyway. So.
First and foremost, on a serious note, Simon and I spoke about it last week. Obviously. What does it mean to you? I mean, how did you react in Paris?
I watched the game, every single game the last couple of weeks, and I watched the game City against Everton, and I thought after the halftime, I thought, they're running the game, they're leading the score, it's over, it's gonna be until the end, and then Everton did a great second half, and they deserve to at least get a point. I thought they should have won that game, but anyway. After that game, Arsenal were champion. So I received so many text messages, that night, from people here in England, around the world.
Tell us, give us some names. Who texted you? If you can.
Were right. You're 20 years waiting, it's such a long time. We deserve it. It's such a great day for Arsenal, for the club, for everyone's. But I was thinking, but how many were positive, for the last couple of months? I've heard so many critics even from the fans, from pundits, from the players, and I was thinking, hell, what's going on? Is it something against Arsenal? But
especially your mate Vieira, he's been quite negative. Even when you won it yesterday, he couldn't quite bring himself to give it all of it. Yes, of course, if they win the Champions League, they will be remembered as the biggest achievements. But not the biggest team, not the best team.
Oh, really? With Patrick having a big day?
Compared to the Invincible?
Compared to you guys, yeah. Or compared to the Invincibles, yeah.
We're told Arsenal have the chance to dominate the Premier League for years to come. Title winner Emmanuel Petit's told White and Jordan Man City are Arsenal's biggest rivals.
It's very hard to win the Premier League, but, I think the momentum of City is symbolized, with Pep Guardiola. If this guy leaves the club, the door is open.
Arsenal versus PSG in the Champions League final is, of course, live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Now, as we wait for West Ham to make a decision on Nuno Espirito Santo's future, former Crystal Palace chairman Simon Jordan says Nuno's proven himself to be a good manager, but this season wasn't good enough.
It's about what is the better alternative. It's very easy to sit there and go, well, you know what, he deserves to be sacked. What are you going to replace him with? If you're going to replace him with someone that's going to... Scott Parker, maybe, because it's playing to the gallery, he's a championship manager that can get you promoted to the Premier League, then what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him in a year's time?
We're also told West Ham's owners might need to dip into their pockets to keep them afloat while they try and bounce back to the Premier League. In the WSL, Chelsea defender Sandy Baltimore signed a new 4-year contract, and it's reported Live golfers are planning to bail out the Breakaway League with their own money. Bryson DeChambeau, Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood could help Live organisers with 150 million quid after Saudi Arabia pulled the plug on funding.
Greatest and most prestigious football tournament in the world.
We are inviting the world back.
And Brazil win the World Cup.
We're really excited to continue the preparations and get ready to welcome the world.
And so to the football. It's Iniesta to win the World Cup for Spain.
The magic matches and fantastic football.
Germany in seventh heaven. Brazil in footballing hell.
And France
are the World Cup winners in 2018.
Anyone could win this World Cup.
Mbappe has a hat-trick. He has his place in history.
To all the French team, we love you, and we're going to come back in 4 years.
Yamal, 25 yards out, right of centre, left-footed corner! Oh my goodness! Harry Kane attacking it. Stoops, conquers, and England leads.
I think everything is possible, but we have to make it possible.
Well, it will be a fantastic event. There will be 104 Super Bowls in 1 month.
Scotland are going to the World Cup finals! Kenny McLean!
The real test now will be when we get there. How can we turn up?
Dust off your passports, pack your suitcases. England are on their way.
Yep, 16 days to the World.
I'm not sure about 104 Super Bowls.
Yeah, well, that's
not every Super Bowl's that great to be.
That's him. Yeah, that's better than some of the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But that's Infantino for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
P.T. Barnum. Without the charisma.
Yeah, what is important to a World Cup, though, is the home nation doing well. That
It
always gets
is.
people on side, makes the whole thing build and become a festival.
Let's see what the mood is like in the States. Brian Sciaretta is a man we often turn to on soccer in the States. Good afternoon, Brian.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. Yeah, thanks for joining us. It's we were bemoaning the fact that our kind of squad leaked, the England squad leaked quite spectacularly. It was true of Maurizio Pochettino's squad as well. By the time the official announcement came, I think most US soccer fans knew what the squad was.
Yeah, I mean, we've known really, the players were notified on Friday, and and it only took a few hours, and lo and behold, we were able to figure out what the whole entire roster was. The Guardian had it first, and then I think everyone else got it soon after. So, yeah, I mean, they're having a roster release announcement today in New York with all the players, or just about all the players available, with Mauricio Pochettino. But a little bit of the luster's gone, a lot of the suspense is gone now that we all know the team.
It seems that the only kind of contentious thing is the midfielder Tanner Tessman, who I've got to be honest, I don't know a great deal about, but he seems to be the one that people have talked about, surprised he's maybe not there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest. Him and Aiden Morris, who's the midfielder at Middlesbrough, who I thought had a very good season. I think it's just the team is very light on central midfielders right now. And Tyler Adams, who plays for Bournemouth, he absolutely needs to stay healthy because the options behind him, are very unclear at best. But Pochettino elected to bring a lot of attackers and a lot of defenders, fullbacks and center backs. I don't think anyone even who was in contention was cut. So, it kind of shows you where his concerns are right now, and I guess he feels confident with the players he has. But yeah, Tanner had a great season for Lyon in France. He was a starter every game for them, at least every game when he was healthy, and he could play a lot of different positions. So he was the captain of the Olympic team 2 years ago. So I think everyone was just kind of hoping that he would make the next jump. And I guess Pochettino saw things differently.
How many of the players are in the MLS and how many are playing in Europe? What's the sort of split roughly?
Oh, I haven't done the exact split, but I would say MLS probably has, 8, 10 players around there, something like that. And a lot of alums.
Yeah. So when you put your first 11 together, you quite hopeful that they can do well in the tournament?
Well, the question is the form of Christian Pulisic. That is the biggest question right now with the national team, because he hasn't scored since December. He's been blanked in 2026. If Christian can return to the form he was at last, at the first part of the season with Milan, I really much like the USA's chance. But if he doesn't turn things around, it's going to be very difficult for them, because he's the best player when he's on his game, and it's tough to see the U.S. team going far without it. So, I hate to not give you a clear answer right now, but everything depends on his form right now, because it's not good.
And have attitudes changed towards Mauricio Pochettino? Results have picked up. It took him a while to kind of...
That's his history, though. That's his way.
Yeah, once he gets a grip of a job, he tends to do it well. So maybe he's peaking at the right time, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, the results in the March friendly, the loss to Portugal and Belgium at home didn't help. It was doing much better come the fall. When they had the 5-1 win over Uruguay, that was really impressive. That was a stunner, to be honest with you. But, right now there's just a lot of questions right now. And I think we're going to try and figure out what's going to happen in these two friendlies, Senegal and Germany, leading up to the World Cup. But, there's just a lot of, I wouldn't say optimism. I wouldn't say people are just completely down on the team. There's just a lot of uncertainty, and we're just trying to see if Pochettino can, land the wobbly plane safely.
It's not the toughest group, is it? I mean, you've got Turkey, which will be tough. They're a good side. You've got Paraguay and Australia. So a pretty good chance emerging from that. Who knows?
Everybody's got a pretty good chance of emerging from the group.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you have a good performance against Turkey, and Turkey is the last game, so maybe you know what you're up against. That you could top the group. That could really help you in the next stages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fortunately, with the way they scheduled their friendlies in the fall, they actually played both Australia and Paraguay, and they won both games. So there is some optimism going there, but friendlies and competitive games are very different things. Australia always plays hard.
Yeah.
South American teams can be very good, so you never know. It's all up in the air, but so is the U.S. team. The U.S. team just they need to be at their best, and they really can't afford any more injuries, because especially the midfielders, because they're walking into the tournament thin there, and they really need Tyler Adams to have a big performance, in my opinion.
Brian, I've been reading this thing about this documentary, HBO documentary, US Against the World, And there seems to be some sort of controversy on social media, on Twitter's gone a bit mad, between Gio Reyna and Greg Berhalter, and the fact that this story wasn't in the documentary. Is it a well-known story? I wasn't aware of it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Gio and Greg, that was the fallout from the 2022 World Cup when Gio didn't play much. His attitude wasn't great in camp, and then all of a sudden his parents,
got involved. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, who are childhood friends, going back to high school, they knew stuff about domestic violence between Greg and his wife, then his girlfriend from 20 something years ago. They leaked that to the press to embarrass him. I think because Gio didn't play much. And it was just a really, really ugly situation, and one of a black mark on the program that still people talk about today, especially because Gio's on the team and now Greg Berhalter's son is on the team. Wow. So, it's a story that's not going to go away for anytime soon. So yeah, you got to kind of talk about it. And unfortunately for US Hockey, with both those players on the team, there's going to be people talking about it. It's just going to be the topic that no one really wants to talk about, but the media might, and I don't know how US Hockey is going to deal with it.
Are you, finally, Brian, are you kind of sensing a bit of a buzz? I don't know if, your non-soccer loving friends, you speak to them, are they aware it's happening, that it's coming to the States?
Yeah, I mean, gradually the news has started to shift towards teams on the field and the players on the field, which is good. We're beyond the tickets and the travel and getting to games and, FIFA corruption and all this other stuff that normally follows in with hosting these tournaments. And finally, we're getting to start. More and more of the media, more of the press, more of the fan buzz is starting to, who's going to win this thing? How far is the U.S. going to go? Who can win it? Like, who can advance out of the groups and stuff like that? And that's really, really refreshing to see. It took a while, but I think we're finally there here.
Good, brilliant.
It'd be interesting to see if it builds up a head of steam with the American public. You forget in 1998, quite a lot of the French public weren't particularly invested until they started going through.
If they get to the quarterfinals, the interest will be massive.
Yeah, it will be interesting. Yeah. So, Brian, I've no doubt we will catch up with you during the tournament. But good.
Oh, I can't wait. Thanks very much,
guys. To talk to you. Take care. Brian Sciaretta, their US football expert over in the States. So, our World Cup team. Let's give you some of the people who are going to be involved. For us, I don't mean England, I mean on talkSPORT. Carl Walker, you heard on Drive last week. Carl's going to be part of our team, former England defender. AJ Tracy, who was in on Drive the other week. He's going to be part of the team, big Spurs fan. Fabian Herzler, the Brighton manager. David Moyes, the Everton manager. Manu Petit, you heard earlier on with Jim and Simon. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, former Dutch international, Chelsea striker. Our own Alan Pardew, former Premier League manager. Brad Friedel, the former USA Spurs, Villa and keeper. And Christina Uncle, the refereeing expert we've often spoken on the show.
She's great.
You saw her on, I think, ITV during the Women's World Cup, who's excellent. So a formidable team. We're going to broadcast.
Stellar lineup.
It is. 104 matches taking place in America, Canada and Mexico for the first time ever. You can listen to talkSPORT's coverage on TikTok and YouTube. We're going to be coming to you at an earlier time. Once the World Cup gets underway, we'll be with you from 10 a.m. To 1 p.m. So we'll be doing an earlier slot. We're going to swap with Jim and Simon.
We'll be previewing the day's action and reviewing last night's sprint.
That's right. We'll probably have about 2 hours sleep for about 5 weeks, like most people. But that's what we're going to be doing.
Oh yeah, I'm not watching any of those 2 o'clock in the mornings.
Following them straight after breakfast. So I do hope you'll be able to join us between 10 and 1 for the duration of the tournament. But joining us next in the studio is comedian, podcaster, streamer and big Arsenal fan. He's got a new show, I think. Bill Al-Zafar makes a welcome return to the studio. We're here with our good friends Toolstation. Make the switch to the Toolstation Trade Club. You'll save 10% on all electrical and lighting when you buy cables and flexes. First stop, Toolstation.
I don't think Roy appears to be in any mood to say he was wrong, because on his Instagram account, Keane shared a photo of a donkey with 2 lions in the background, and it had a caption of "Too much attention makes a donkey think he's a lion." So that doesn't appear to be Roy backing down, does it?
Does he have to back down then? By whose standards does he have to back down?
If you quoted somebody and you quoted them wrongly, and they hadn't said what you thought they'd said, you'd man up, wouldn't you?
Probably.
You'd front up.
Probably, because I think it would give me more strength to be right than in a different instance than being wrong and standing with it. Because if I was wrong, I still think that Fernandes is a weak leader. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good player in an average Manchester United side. And I think you'll win nothing with him of significance. And they really haven't won very much. But that doesn't alter the fact that Fernandes is, I think he's better than he was 2 or 3 years ago. I think myself and Souness used to sit on this show going, never win anything with people like Fernandes. That's not a leader. Keane's a leader. Souness was a leader. I'll have those guys all day. And yes, I know they belong to a different era and a different generation, and an era and different generation that we should long lament for, because it's brand of modern day football. And no, thank you very much.
Roy's a club legend. Yeah. Do you think he's become a bitter club legend?
No, not really. I think he's set in his ways. I think he harks back to a time when United were, as I said, strode across English football with all the swagger. And I think he doesn't like the idea of them being an also-ran. And and he's basically saying, a day of a lion or life of a lamb, whatever it is. They're lambs. They're lambs. This Man United guys. They can't even breathe the same rarefied air as the Man United teams of the previous. So I think there's an element of that. I think people look at things and go, like I do sometimes, look at people going, how have you got? I hate people getting rewarded for mediocrity. I hate people getting things they don't really merit. And today's society hands it to them and lionises people. And I think Roy's a little bit like that. Now, I think it would be better for him to go, you know what? It's a strength to turn around and go, on this instance, I got it wrong, but I still think you're a flake. I'll take that from him. So he should, but he won't. And that's part of the appeal of Roy Keane, that he will stand. You can listen to the other ones, like Ian Wright, that never say anything about anything, or you can listen to Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane all day. I love him all day, and every now and again, he'll say something that he shouldn't say, or row back, or won't row back from something he has said. And you can draw your own opinion on him, and you can conclude that that might be a limitation of Roy, and he should do this. Who says he should? We?
Let it all go. Martin Ødegaard and lifts the trophy aloft after all of those near misses. Mikel Arteta and his players have finally delivered when it really matters. And are we on the cusp of another North London dynasty?
We wear that shirt now in a different way. We are the champions, and that brings obviously a lot of joy, a different presence, more confidence, but as well a lot of responsibility, which is to now deliver much more now.
Our next guest is a big Arsenal fan. He's wearing the colours. I've seen a lot of Arsenal shirts out and about in the last week or so. Comedian Bill Al-Zafar. Good afternoon, Bill. Good to see you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
So I said that shirt, I'd not seen it before. It was one that was really match. It's the kind of green with the blue sleeves, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of these, like, it's copying one from like 1982 or something.
Right.
They always do that. But yeah, I don't think we wore it that much.
Yeah. That's often the case, isn't it? I mean, occasionally you might, exactly, too many.
Yeah. Too many. It shouldn't be every season. Do you remember when it was every other season?
Yeah.
And now it's every season 3 new kits.
Yeah. Did you buy the latest? Have you bought the latest? Because I suppose it's more memorable when they won the title, I guess. So.
Yeah, so you're saying I should buy the one we wore this season, not the new one?
Yes, the one you want. Yeah, so that's
just in case you don't win it.
That'll be the title-winning kit.
Exactly.
Possibly the Champions League winning kit, of course.
Oh God, yeah.
It would be a really historic achievement. I mean, winning the league is great, and they've done that before. But they've never won the Champions League, and to do both in the same season, that would be pretty amazing.
We've only been in the final once.
Yeah,
20 years ago. Yeah, I'm going to. They're screening it at the Emirates
right
Saturday, and I'm going to that.
But did you try and get a ticket for the game?
I didn't bother because I knew how expensive flights and hotels and everything would get, and it's
I'm going to a Parisian themed party. That's
Are you?
Yeah. It's that moment when Declan Rice. I mean, he got a bit of stick for it, but the moment he was saying it like it's not done, you did think, he's right, because that was the best you'd played for a long time, and we knew City had some tough games. I mean, you always thought Bournemouth away was going to be there were tough matches. Probably not the night that it did all go pear-shaped.
The run-in was brilliant. The way they played and the whole way they dealt with it was admirable. It was.
Yeah.
No, you have to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I still can't believe it.
You're a season ticket holder.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So, wow. I mean, yeah, it's been an amazing season for you. So, I mean...
Us less so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I say it's all relative. I'm just happy.
Well, Spurs
I'm just happy to survive.
You had something to celebrate.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, kind of. It was relief, but there was an era, and obviously a bit of celebration before we all thought, how the heck did we get into this situation?
I met up with, Joey Page, comedian?
Yes, yeah.
We've got a podcast together. He's my best friend, Spurs fan. I met him after that final game against Everton, and I said to him, it's like he said it's like he almost drowned.
Yes.
That's how he felt.
Yeah.
No, I think most Spurs fans felt that.
Yeah.
It was a really horrible experience and horrible for West Ham.
I mean, it really shouldn't happen. I mean, I'm sure there was much levity amongst the Arsenal fans, which I completely... Actually, not just Arsenal fans. I think the whole country wanted Tottenham to go down, if you weren't a Spurs fan.
But only because it's something different, right? I don't think
would have been
everyone
a big story.
hates Spurs the way you might feel.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit like Leicester winning the league.
Yeah.
Big story.
It would have been a big story. It would have been huge.
People would have missed the derbies.
Yeah.
They would.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I wasn't desperate for you to go down.
Oh, that's nice. That's very good. A bit patronising, but nice of you to say so.
I've got so many Spurs friends. I think if I didn't, I think if all the stuff you take in with, like if I lived in another country, if all the stuff was online and through pundits and all of that, then I'd absolutely want it.
Yeah.
But when you've got mates.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. That's what,
Some Arsenal fans were considering it part of the treble, the league.
Yeah.
The
well, that's what Piers Morgan was saying.
Yeah.
Again, likewise, I've got friends and relatives who are Arsenal fans, so I try and put it all in perspective. So your new show, Rubicon.
That's right.
You are taking to the Edinburgh Festival.
Yeah.
What's it's part stand-up, part game show.
Yeah, so I've been doing stand-up for a while, and I've done a load of Edinburgh shows now, and I want to do something different that's a bit more fun and not just storytelling stand-up. So part of the show is going to be a game show, which I haven't quite figured out yet. It's going to be very silly. Yeah, it's going to be very silly. I want to mix I do a lot of weird comedy online, a bit of surreal stuff, and I've never really done it in stand-up, so it's exciting, but it's quite scary trying to do something different.
I caught on your Instagram the sort of FA Cup draw of rogues of television.
Oh, yeah.
It's very funny, actually. Not that we could talk about it on here.
Rogues of TV.
But it was very good.
Yeah.
That would be a bit like the first round draw preliminaries. Preliminaries, you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
But we first spoke to you when you had Zaffa Cakes, which is actually your handle, of course, you on Instagram, but that was a big thing for you, wasn't it?
You had a kind of big online, I mean, not all of it good, which was the whole point of the show, really, wasn't it? You basically pretended that you were setting up a Muslim-only bakery.
It was a misunderstanding.
People thought it was real.
Yeah, people thought I was that, and I went with it for about a month.
Yeah.
And got a very good show out of it. But yeah, it's hard. Following that up was really hard. When you have a very successful first show, it's really hard. I've had also, so what the show's going to be about a bit is like, I've had a massive change in my life lately. I've done stand-up for over 10 years, and I didn't have to have a day job for years and years, but recently I've had to get one again because it's just been difficult.
Right.
So I work as a teaching assistant for a year 2 class now.
Oh, okay.
Really?
And I love it.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird because I was embarrassed at first. You know what I mean? I didn't want other comedians to know that I was doing this. But then I realised, like, this has been so much better for, like, my mental health.
Yeah.
It's a lovely job. It's not easy.
Is it a source of material as well? I would imagine it is.
It's very funny.
Is there a problem with the circuit of people not going to comedy clubs?
There's lots of things. There's gigs that I've not been paid for that I did in January, right? So that's always been an issue.
That's not good.
Gigs they've not improved their payment generally for about 20 years, even though the cost of everything else has gone up. And then, if you're not getting on lots of TV, and I've been very close to things, you know what I mean? I've been really close to getting these big
But you've got quite an online, you do a lot of Twitch stuff, you've got kind of a lot of online presence. Is that not as lucrative as everybody sort of thinks?
It helps, but it's not enough.
Right.
So, hopefully one day I can get it all going again and be earning, plenty of money, whatever. But right now with this job, it's just forcing me to get up early and stuff, which I wasn't doing. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I only realised how miserable I was.
At least Edinburgh's in the school holidays, so you'll be all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's perfect. So, I'm there for now, and I'm quite happy for now.
Oh, that's good.
But, thanks.
Yeah, good.
And so you say you're still working on the format for the game show aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See if the kids can help you. They might have just get out of left field. They might give you a great idea. Do they know what you do?
No.
They're so young, I guess. It's like...
They don't... I mean, they don't know anything about that, but even the staff don't know.
Really?
Right? I think two people have recognised me, and I've asked them to keep it quiet, right? But it's really weird. It's like I'm in, like, witness protection or something. You know what I mean? It's just... I'm in a different world.
Yeah.
But I quite like it.
Is this becoming? Do you sense that quite a lot of other comedians are kind of in the same boat? Have you noticed it happen to other people as well?
Lots of people have had day jobs the whole time, and there's people that are qualified in other stuff, earning loads of money and do comedy on the side, but you wouldn't know it. I guess so. I mean, not everyone talks about it because it's not what you show off.
Yeah,
If you look at a comedian's Instagram, for example, it's all bragging because it has to be. Yeah. Right? We're just showing off all our...
It's not good for the future of comedy, though, for young comedians coming up, trying to make a living out of it, It's going to be difficult, isn't it? I suppose touring...
Do you think more, a bit like musicians, do you think more kind of comedians will kind of curate their own stuff, put stuff out online? That's how they build a following rather than doing gigs. Yeah?
You have to. I mean, I think a mix of both. It's good to get good at being on stage, absolutely. And then if you can get an online following, that's massive.
Yeah.
Just, you've got to do all of it. But it's not like it used to be. It used to be, you get on Have I Got News For You?
Yeah.
And then you get loads of people who come see you after that. And it's way less people watch TV now. It's all very different, isn't it?
Change. I wasn't expecting this conversation. It's very interesting, though, that it's gone that way.
Yeah.
Well, people should come and see your show in Edinburgh.
Yes,
you're doing some sort of warm-up gigs as well?
Loads. So I'm always doing work-in-progress shows, which usually they're a lot cheaper because I'll be on with another comedian. We're both doing an hour each, Then I'll do the Fringe, and then hopefully a tour afterwards is the plan.
And where are the best socials to find you and find out what you're up to then?
Zafar Cakes, Zafar Cakes, on all your social media platforms.
Excellent. And what do you reckon at the weekend?
Anything can happen, right?
Extra time and pens. We're in for a long night, or that would suit Arsenal, really, wouldn't it?
Do you think
1-0 to the Arsenal is the result?
That feels like
that's the result.
Because you've got a great defence.
I tell you what,
I don't think if you go toe to toe with them, that's probably not a great idea.
I'm scared of that Kravitz-Skelia. Right.
Fabulous player.
Yeah.
The thing is, if PSG score early, from a neutral point of view, it'll be a great game because Arsenal have got a lot
They've
about.
got the players. They've got the players to come out and play.
They'll play. It'll be like the Bayern game, I think.
Yeah.
But if it's a cagey game, that's going to favour Arsenal.
Yeah.
I guess so. I'm always confident. You know what I mean? I always think. I hate football fans that are negative all the time. Like, you get a lot of Arsenal.
Well, you better leave this.
Yeah. You've come to the wrong place if Andy sitting next to us.
Oh yeah, like you, Mr. Positive.
I never in doubt. I think you'll find the record will show. The record will show that I never had any doubt that we would survive. Wow, Bilal, good to see you.
Thank you.
And best of luck. Bilal Zafar show. Rubicon, you'll catch him up at Edinburgh and all those warm-up gigs as well. And let's have what are your dates up in Edinburgh?
Is it the 5th? Does it say the 5th?
5th to the 27th.
8th to the 27th, but not the 17th.
Okay, having the day off. Right? Good stuff, yeah.
Something like that. I'm there for the whole month.
It could be the 5th to the 27th.
I think it's the 5th.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
Lovely to
see you.
Still to come, Julian Laurent will be here. A man with a foot in both camps. Arsenal connections, PSG fan. He's going to chat about his new autobiography his new biography, should I say. It's not about him. It's about Kylian Mbappe, and he'll be with us in around 10 minutes' time.
Let's get back to some calls. Go to Darren. He's a Spurs fan. All right, Daz?
All right, Daz.
Hi. How are you, Daz?
Relieved. I'm not celebrating like some of the fans that have come on from Spurs. I think they're ridiculous. The only thing I did when the whistle went, I turned to my mates who I go with every time, and we said we're relieved, and we walked out the stadium because we just had enough. And the way fans are behaving, and calling out Chelsea, that's ridiculous. We finished 17th. They finished 10th.
Yeah, they won nothing.
Hang on a minute.
They won nothing, though.
So did we.
Yeah, exactly.
We won nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, but we're a disgrace, and so are they.
Yeah, but we are more of a disgrace. And the way Tottenham fans are behaving is ridiculous. I agree with him.
Well, you will agree with him.
No, you're speaking. He's the first one that's phoned up talking any sense.
Dazza, right? It's a shocking season, but it's over. It's over. Season's over. We're up. Cheer up.
It's over. It's embarrassment. What do you think people like Glenn Hoddle look when they look at that side?
I know. Well, they've got to sort it out, haven't they?
Legends of the club.
Well, they've got to sort it out, though, Daz, haven't they? Got to start again.
Yeah, they've got to sort it out, but there's no good when fans are turning around like we've won a cup. It's ridiculous. The stay-up trophy.
Good trophy, that, though, Daz.
The inaugural. Well done.
Mate, it's good trophy, that. Staying up cup.
Yeah, it should be a toilet bowl. It should be a toilet bowl because that's what it was. It was toilet. It was. They should have stayed in the toilet where most of those players came from. Holding up a toilet. Silver toilet.
That's a good trophy, that.
Holding that up a lot.
Yeah, a picture of that.
Yeah. Someone will AI that.
Staying up trophy.
Someone will AI that and send it to us, mate.
Yeah. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, Daz, enjoy it, mate. It's up. It's over. We can all relax now. Got the World Cup coming up.
He's the only one under a rock.
Just relax.
The only one. The only one that's got any. Only one that's got anything about him. Only Spurs fan today.
talkSPORT Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Pep's departure means Arsenal have an opportunity to establish a new era of dominance in the Premier League. Well, that's according to Arsenal legend Emmanuel Petit, who's also told talkSPORT how he sees the Champions League final playing out.
Most of the time, Paris Saint-Germain, they play against top teams that they don't close the door. They play, their own football and they leave space behind them. Arsenal, they are a very, very, very tactical team, and this is something that Paris Saint-Germain can struggle against.
Remember, that one's live on talkSPORT on Saturday. Elsewhere, we're told West Ham are keeping their powder dry on sacking Nuno Espirito Santo until they've sounded out potential replacements. Simon Jordan says Nuno had more than enough time, though, to prove he's the man for the job.
My mind's eye was always with Nuno Espirito Santo that he'd sort of come in October, November, December. But he didn't. He came in much earlier than that. And so you look at the run rate of his performances, and it's not good enough.
Scott Parker and Gary O'Neill are two leading candidates to replace Nuno if he's sacked. Elsewhere, Everton are interested in exploring West Ham's new championship status. They want to bring in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In other transfer news, you understand Liverpool have blocked Alisson's move to Juventus. Andy Robertson's also drawn interest from the Italian side, but he's still favourite to move to Spurs, while Jamie Vardy will leave Cremonense following their relegation from Serie A. Remember, you can get more transfer news on the website at talksport.com. And Wales boss Craig Bellamy says his side have plenty to look forward to despite narrowly missing out on the World Cup. He's named his 26-man squad for upcoming friendlies against Ghana and Romania next month. Captain Ben Davies and Burnley's Connor Roberts are both back.
talkSPORT News.
4 teenagers have drowned during the bank holiday heatwave, and a rape case in which 2 teenage boys avoided jail is heading to the Court of Appeal. Emma's got more at 5:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. If the pollen count has your nose running all day, get your cabin filter replaced at your local QuickFit. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
A very hot day across much of the country. Fresher across northern areas with sunny spells, maybe a few thundery showers across England and Wales later this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Julien Laurent, French football expert, has written the definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe, and he will be with us in the studio a little bit later on. We also hope to have a chat about the enhanced games. You've probably heard a lot about them. You probably don't know. They took place, started and finished on Sunday in Las Vegas. And didn't get maybe the publicity a lot of people expected.
I think that's
a good thing, yeah.
But Matt Lawton was fascinating. It was a very, quite unsavoury, but very interesting at the same time.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Andy was telling us about this new app that can tell the difference between a real and fake football shirt. And so you have been regaling us with stories of hooky equipment. I bought a Nike golf bag in Bangkok, but they'd also added an Adidas label to it.
Sorry.
I tried to negotiate the price down, but the guy said, "Why? You've got 2 brands," says Baggers. Yeah, my daughter wanted to get a pair of Air Jordans from a well-known market area of London. I mentioned to her that they were probably fakes, and the store owner overheard. He said, no, they're not fakes. They're genuine replicas. It's a bit Del Boy, that, isn't it, Simon, in Reading?
I remember when my son lived in Shanghai, we used to go and visit him on a reasonably regular basis.
Yeah.
And there was this amazing market that you'd go to, and handbags, watches, all knockoff stuff,
Yeah.
Not that I ever bought any.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do. You're not that kind of lad.
I'm not.
The centre of, as I've said, we were sent to Tim Vickery last week. In the centre of Rio is a big market area, and it's honestly it's just seas of stalls selling shirts. I mean, from all countries, mainly
Amazing.
Brazilian ones,
Yeah.
but not that we condone that behaviour. Yes, I used to work for Border Force, says Nick. And some years ago, we impounded a container which was full of fake Manchester United shirts with Wayne Rooney's name and number on the back. They weren't difficult to spot, he said. They'd actually spelt Rooney with 2 N's, R-O-N-N. Ronnie.
Wayne Ronnie.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that was money well spent. And you can keep those coming then. talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TSH and J. And we've talked about statues being enhanced. The statue that's in Leonards-on-Sea has now got a walnut whip on the head of Queen Victoria. Simon in Leighton Buzzard said the Josiah Wedgwood statue outside Stoke Station often has a can of beer wedged into his outstretched hand, he says. I was a student there at that time in the 90s, but it was nothing to do with me, so he claims. So thank you very much. talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TSH and J. Now, Derby County, have you caught any of the newspapers? Among them, the Times, that tell us today that Turki Al-Sheikh, who you'll know from his involvement in boxing, is interested in buying Derby County. Let's get the thoughts.
He's a very successful man, Turkey. Whatever he sort of touches tends to do quite well.
Yeah. Well, look, let's get the thoughts then of the Rams Talk podcast's very own Jake Barker. Hello, Jake.
Hello, lads. How you both doing?
Yeah, we're not bad. I mean, what do you make of these stories? Was it the first you'd heard of it this morning, or has it been a bit of a whisper around the club?
Well, he followed quite a lot of Derby-related accounts on Twitter last week. It was picked up by a few different people, and There was a little bit of news. Obviously, he'd looked at Bristol City in the past and supposedly had talks there as well. So we knew he was kind of sniffing around at championship clubs. But yeah, he put something kind of cryptic on Twitter about lions and, becoming vegetarian to not kill the rams or the lambs and stuff like that the other day, which was a little bit weird. But yeah, I think yesterday was the first time it's come out. And when John Percy says something, it usually happens. So it was very interesting to see it come out.
How do you feel about it? Have you been doing a bit of research? I mean, you obviously know him from his boxing. Connections is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for me. It's a difficult one. I mean, it's never ideal because obviously the first thing you do is go and research the person that's potentially going to buy your club, right, or own some percentage in it. And immediately when you look at his Wikipedia, I know that's not the be-all and end-all of information, but you look at it and it's got a tab for human rights abuses, and it's a bit like, okay, that's not ideal. I think you've got to look at it from two perspectives. I've seen a lot of Derby fans, and everyone's obviously entitled to their own opinion. I don't think anyone's right or wrong in this, but when you look at it, the money that he'll bring in, like you say, everything he touches turns to gold, right? He's done so many things with boxing. He's obviously got experience managing, or I say managing, he's got experience managing football clubs, Almeria and Pyramids FC, who he did a bit of an MK Dons with in the Egyptian league and moved them halfway across the country to Cairo. And he's clearly been there. He clearly gets it. The problem for me, and the bit that I find hard, is you read so much about him and it's all very, very... I mean, it's obviously all alleged, but it's alleged that I'm in as well. I read that and I think, oh God, that's not good. What if we have a dodgy game? You know, you say something on social media and suddenly you've got...
bring the sports fund. You're doing 5 years. It wouldn't be ideal.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's not a good thing to.
I mean, you're not the first football fans to find yourself in that situation. Having to sort of
it's a test for the new regulator. People have said they're right.
Yeah, I think that's.
But on the other hand,
well, because of the connections with PIF as well,
absolutely,
and that relationship, that's something that the EFL are going to have to be happy with.
But if you're looking at clubs, Derby are, you'll agree with, so they're right there, aren't they, Jake? Because I mean, they've this great club with history. They have got,
and not far off the playoffs last season. So I mean, maybe sort of ripe for a takeover. I mean, what's the relationship with the fan base and the current owners?
Amazing, honestly brilliant. I mean, David Klaus came in when Derby were on death's door and paid way over the odds, really, for where the club was at the time. Proceeded over as getting promoted back up to the Championship, and now we're one game off the playoffs, and I think at the moment you look at it, he's obviously a local businessman, and it's kind of going from one to the other. You go from local property developer that saves the club to member of the Saudi government, and it's a massive change, and I think it will be difficult to sort of quantify until it happens. I mean, it looks like it's going to happen, doesn't it? We don't know, but it looks like it's something that will happen.
Yeah, if
Vinicius Junior signs for Derby, you'll be happy.
Yeah, there's a few hurdles to jump. You kind of sense from a regulatory point of view, but look, potentially exciting times. How do you look back on last year? Finally, Jake.
Yeah, really, really good. It was a brilliant season. I think the thing Derby fans wanted was stability. I mean, you'll both remember Mel Morris and everything that happened there. And Derby were in turmoil for years. We're stable again. We're bringing in good, young, hungry players that are coming in and doing the business. I mean, Derby had so many injuries last season, and yet we're still one game off the playoffs. So to be in that position was brilliant. Everyone's happy with John Eustace, happy with the team, and I guess excited to see what comes next.
Okay, nice one. Well, look, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm sure you will as well. Thank you, Jake. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
There we are. That news that Turkey Al Sheikh, boxing supremo, could be buying into Derby County. That is Jake Barker, the Rams Talk podcast. So we're going to chat about Kylian Mbappe very shortly. All being well, we'll be touching on the enhanced games as well, which have just happened in Vegas. Sort of blinked and you miss it. I kind of thought there'd be like about a week's worth. Maybe I didn't expect like a month, but I thought maybe it might be a week.
Athletes, I think about 42.
They were all earning an absolute. It was like
money.
It was like sort of live swimming and athletics, but I mean, not that they're involved with it. I'd like to point, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It was a lot of money for not a great deal of work in some cases, but for obvious reasons. So anyway, we'll be touching on that. Just a reminder: 4:00 this afternoon. Andy and Menti won't be in the studio because they're at Centurion Golf Club for James Madison Charity Golf Day. which has got a great turnout. I've been seeing some pictures from it on the screen, and I know Michael McIntyre is there. He might well be joining the fellas, and lots of top footballers and other sports people. Luke Humphries is there. So you'll be hearing from all of them, I'm sure, at 4 from the golf day. And then it's kick-off at 7 with Hugh Woozencroft and Jermaine Pennant, and the sports bar, as always, at 10 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We're here, as always, with our good friends at Toolstation. Open from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Grab what you need, get on site, get it done. First stop, Toolstation.
You're talking about 2-3 players, right? And I get that Spurs miss out.
But that's the track record.
There's plenty of players out there
over the many
not
years.
lads from Middlesbrough who come off the bench in the playoff final. Like, do me.
Well, he was injured. He's been the best player in the Championship this season.
Yeah, I don't want to sign Championship players. Spurs don't need to sign Championship players. We've got Championship players. They've shown that. We've got Championship players.
Do you? I understand what you're saying. Hayden Hackney, I think, would be a good signing. He's been brilliant this season. But I understand what you're saying about actually you need to aim bigger than that on top of the Hayden Hackneys and that. But do you trust? Do you trust the owners enough?
No, I don't trust the owners.
I don't think it's down to the owners anymore. I think De Zerbi's got full control. I think he will be the one who's picking the players.
They still got to dip their hand in the pockets. Well, they've got to okay it. They've got to sign off the contracts.
When they got rid of Daniel Levy, saying that they're going to spend money.
But that's my point.
Everyone was going to change the narrative, and it was sporting success that they were.
And then what happened in January? They went and sold. They went and sold Brennan Johnson for 30 mil. Brought in Conor Gallagher for 30 mil.
Net zero spend.
Well, it was net 12 with Sousa as well, but. You know,
first team.
Exactly. My point is, and that's my point. So summer coming up, this is Tottenham Hotspur, and you can't get the Champions League players. It's not going to happen. But you can still attract with those big wages.
It's about
Alex Scott. They're the type of players.
Well, he came from the Championship.
Yeah, I know, but he's been in Bournemouth and he's top.
No, but they bought him from the Championship.
Yeah, he's been playing in the Premier League.
Semenyo came. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you can be clever with your recruitment. Antoine Semenyo came from the Championship. Adam Wharton.
No, but the
point is about to win a European final.
Now.
Why not?
Because I don't want them. We've got to sign the Premier League players who are playing in the Premier League who have been top draw.
The point, no.
Championship.
I think you're being a snob.
The point Jamie's making
is upgrading the squad now from where it is. They've had those middle-ranking signings. They need polish to make them get over the line and pull them out of the situation they're in. Here's a question for
Michael Elise's done all right coming out of the Championship.
Go back to.
Who did he go to? Went to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then went to Bayern Munich.
Crystal Palace finished above you. They're in a European final.
Yeah, but you don't sign. We don't need players from the Championship.
You do.
Rookie. No, we don't.
You need a rebuild.
We don't need a rebuild from the Championship.
You don't need big time Charlies coming in.
What are you talking about? It's not big time Charlies. You've got to find the right prospect. But you don't sign a player from the Championship. We've got Championship players. We finished 17th.
I think you're being harsh, and I think you're being a snob.
Hawksbee Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're talking about statue enhancements after the one in St Leonard's on Sea in East Sussex. And they had a walnut whip put on there to Queen Victoria. I'd like to think that's what she would have wanted.
Very much.
She always looked like she liked to laugh. Yeah. You've seen the funny stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The statue of Thomas Waghorn in Chatham is quite famous in the Medway towns. It regularly has the traffic cone put on the head, usually done by people after a night out, says. I mean, that is the most common thing, isn't it? But say the Duke of Wellington in Glasgow, it's become, people get upset if there's not one on.
No, I know. Yeah. We've got a statue of Hogarth in Chiswick High Road.
Yeah, what's
great painter.
What's he looking
with his
like?
dog? Well, nobody. I'm surprised nobody ever does anything like that. I might start a tradition now.
Yeah,
I just shouldn't announce it. They'll know it's me.
There is a statue of. It's opposite the Colosseum in Rome. That it looks. I told my son has done it. A lot of people often go there, and maybe it's become a bit famous on TikTok.
Mm.
And you're kind of fielding against it. It's like you do a cricket reenactment.
Okay,
it's become quite a common.
I don't think I know what you mean. Yeah.
Quite a common thing. So I don't know quite where that leads us anyway.
Very much so.
Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 03717223344. If you want to get in touch this afternoon. Anything else you want to share with the
It was interesting yesterday, the Pep celebrations, said here in the paper today, Oasis star Noel Gallagher, 58.
Yes.
Didn't need to know that.
Yeah.
Pal of Pep's also clambered up and hugged him. They were among many wearing P for Pep jackets.
Oh, yes.
No, it's P for Puma, isn't it?
Oh, you said, yes, that's right. Yeah, I think they've got that wrong. So we were chatting about
Here we go.
We were chatting about the enhanced games a little bit earlier on. And there was a lot of publicity around it, of course. So I think we all imagined the'd be the opening ceremony and there'd be... It was like over a blink and you miss it. It was
sure about that.
It was finished in a day. Anyway, Matt Lawton from The Times has been keeping an eye on it.
Enhanced opening ceremony.
Yeah,
on LSD.
Yeah, that's right. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Good.
Matt's kind of was there at the genesis of all this, as he wrote in his piece in The Times today. Good afternoon, Matt.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, you tell the story of when you kind of first met the kind of people that this brainchild, the enhanced games, were. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so, I went initially and met this guy, Aaron D'Souza, in a restaurant in Kensington, because he lives in Kensington, I won't say exactly where he is, but I think he's extraordinarily expensive. I think he's quite wealthy.
Okay, yeah.
And I then was invited to this event at the House of Lords, which was kind of a private event, and it was on the understanding that I wouldn't report the identity of a lot of the people that were there unless they were happy to.
Wow.
But it was populated by seriously high-ranking academics, scientists, and I was in a room, and at one point, I've got to say, I was almost signing up myself because I quite like my own life, and I thought, well, I wouldn't mind living forever because
that's his thing.
That's what it is. Rich person.
This is what they were kind of selling, yeah. So there was, as I mentioned in the piece, as well as this one academic from a top British university stood up and basically said, look, the human body has shown it can live for 120 years because people have. But most of us hit a roadblock. It's in our 70s and 80s, which is normally either cancer or dementia. It was cheerful conversation.
Cheers, I'm off right now.
Exactly. Some of us are getting there faster than we'd like to.
Already
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, it's going to hit you right in the face. No, and basically they were talking about trying to develop the science that would allow a lot of us to sidestep that and keep on running, if you like. And then there was another guy from a top US university who basically, again, said, and I'm aware already that these clinics exist. There's one where I live. I could go in as an aging sort of cyclist and I could probably get a testosterone shot that would make me start beating my mates up hills and stuff like that. And my back wouldn't creak as much and all this kind of thing. But they were talking about, again, developing the science that will make 80 the new 60, 60 the new 40, and all the things that we suffer as we get older. There's this industry, and the first thing D'Souza said when he stood up at the start of this event was longevity will be the biggest industry in the 21st century.
That's what it's called, isn't it? The enhancement and longevity industry.
Yeah. And I can kind of see that because we know already that there's, Hollywood. Look at Hollywood. They're all doing this stuff to make themselves look younger, appear younger. So that's what so the penny drop.
So this was a kind of showcase. The enhanced games they said was a showcase for their ideas and their philosophy.
And it was also I think it was to raise, there was a lot of money in the room, and I think it was to try and raise money for their research. But the penny dropped that day, and this was back in February 24. The penny dropped with me that day that this is what this is all really about. They're not trying to replace the Olympics. These guys are kind of going to be, male and female athletes are going to kind of be human billboards for the products that they're using. Now, the sort of tone of my piece was basically that it kind of fell slightly flat on its face because the sprinters, the runners, and actually both races, if we take the athletes, on their word, Fred Curley being one of them, despite the fact he is serving a doping ban for whereabouts failures, both the winners of the women's and men's 100 metres claim that they did it drug-free. But they ran really slowly. The fact of the matter is...
So the times weren't great.
No, they were rubbish. Like, look, 997 is amazing.
Yeah.
Sub 10 used to be, the sort of holy grail for sprinters. But it's way off what Curley's run, and it's way off the world record. And this thing was supposed to be about how these guys with enhancement were going to turn up and break world records. So he was, 958 is the world record, and he runs 997. Reece Prescott, who's run 9... I think he's run 9.9, low like 9.9s, ran 10.48.
That's quite
rubbish, and that was rubbish. Really, let's be honest. So, and then the women, the women's race is running 11.25 when the world record's 10.49. So for me, that was doing nothing to kind of showcase the advantages of enhancement. The swimming. I didn't even bother with the weightlifting. I'm afraid I just can't get interested in that. But the swimming. There may well have been enhancement involved, and the majority of the athletes were on a cocktail of steroids, EPO, testosterone. But the swimmers were all wearing the super suits that they sort of banned back in 2009 because they offer you buoyancy. It's like it is quite literally like putting springs on runners.
Yeah.
So it kind of. I don't really know what the point was.
They all made a lot of money, didn't they?
They did make money, and to be fair, it was during. I can't remember where I was. I was abroad somewhere when I did. Sorry. Yeah. I was abroad at an event somewhere when I did an interview with Ben Proud, the British swimmer.
Yeah, I remember that.
And look, he's a very articulate, intelligent, likeable guy. Came second in the Olympics in the 50-metre freestyle in Paris, but made the point that he'd been training all his life and had made very little money because swimmers don't make any money. Yeah. Adam Peaty might have made a few quid, but generally speaking, they don't make the kind of money that even the sort of Keely Hodgkinsons of this world will make. Because the endorsement, for obvious reasons, you're not going to get paid a lot of money to wear a swimming cap, are you?
Yeah, sure.
Or a pair of goggles.
Yeah.
You can make money by putting on a pair of Nike trainers. But so he'd made very little money, and in a way, there's a little bit of me that's quite pleased for him that him and his girlfriend, they both did 2 events. They finished first and second in their 2 events, and between them, they've made about $1 million.
Wow! Will they do it again? You think finally, Matt? You think that we'll see another enhanced games? Or is this a
these guys are wealthy. You got Donald Trump Jr. and you got Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire, quite a well-known billionaire.
They've all invested.
If they want to keep chucking money at it and give these athletes loads of money for doing very little, then crack on. But look, there's a serious point to this, and it is quite scary, really, because it's all very well that these athletes are being very carefully regulated under the umbrella of top doctors. But if it encourages, we did a story in the Times just a couple of weeks ago about how many young people in this country are using SARMs, which is this alternative to anabolic steroids, not actually licensed to be used by humans. So it's scary stuff, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of kids using it because we are in this age now in the 21st century with social media where young people, and we've all managed to dodge this. Yeah. It didn't happen in our generation, but they're absolutely obsessed with their appearances.
Sure.
And a lot of young people are doing performance-enhancing drugs to improve their appearance.
And this doesn't help.
And the scary bit is some of this stuff is really dangerous. Yeah. It's all very well these guys being regulated, but this stuff is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. There are people dying every week, the online coaches advising them on cocktails of drugs to use, and they're dying. And that's where I think they're irresponsible, and that's why I was, very deliberately very negative about their event in my piece.
I think you were right to be.
Yeah, no.
You can read Matt's piece in the Times today. Times Chief Sports Correspondent Matt Lawton. Thank you, Matt. Thanks for popping in.
Pleasure.
Julian Laron is here next to chat about his definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe.
Lots of upheaval at your old club, West Ham United, as well. What's the first thing that they have to get right before the start of next season? Is it in the dugout?
No, it's players. I think recruitment's been the biggest reason why they've been relegated. I think it's obvious when you look at the squad in general, but certainly the signings from last summer, you think of the signings that certainly haven't worked. Fulkrug came and went, a player that was never suited to the way that West Ham play anyway. Mavropanos has got better, but wasn't very good. Todibo hasn't worked. Where are the midfield players? Again, you look at the squad list, they've got 3 midfield players really to choose from in terms of Premier League quality. So obviously the start of the season was terrible for them, and they've been a bit better. But when your manager looks to the starting 11, then looks to the bench, what are you able to bring on? It is the big difference with players coming back. Tottenham have players they could call upon that I think are still capable in the Premier League. I don't think West Ham have that.
Yeah. How did you feel as a former West Ham United player, learning, as Scott did this morning, that Jean-Claire Todibo pretty much refused to play in yesterday's game because of what happened at Newcastle?
If that's true, it's disgraceful. Of course it is. There's no way you shouldn't want to be part of saving the club from relegation. You could tell how angry he was. He blanked the manager at St James's Park when he was brought on.
We're told Arsenal have the chance to dominate the Premier League for years to come. Title winner Emmanuel Petit's told White and Jordan Man City are Arsenal's biggest rivals.
It's very hard to win the Premier League, but, I think the momentum of City is symbolized, with Pep Guardiola. If this guy leaves the club, the door is open.
Arsenal versus PSG in the Champions League final is, of course, live on talkSPORT this Saturday. Now, as we wait for West Ham to make a decision on Nuno Espirito Santo's future, former Crystal Palace chairman Simon Jordan says Nuno's proven himself to be a good manager, but this season wasn't good enough.
It's about what is the better alternative. It's very easy to sit there and go, well, you know what, he deserves to be sacked. What are you going to replace him with? If you're going to replace him with someone that's going to... Scott Parker, maybe, because it's playing to the gallery, he's a championship manager that can get you promoted to the Premier League, then what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him in a year's time?
We're also told West Ham's owners might need to dip into their pockets to keep them afloat while they try and bounce back to the Premier League. In the WSL, Chelsea defender Sandy Baltimore signed a new 4-year contract, and it's reported Live golfers are planning to bail out the breakaway league with their own money. Bryson DeChambeau, Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood could help Live organisers with 150 million quid after Saudi Arabia pulled the plug on funding.
will pull it back. Mbappe rifles it home. Kylian Mbappe, France's main man, just when they needed him. Mbappe lobs it over the keeper. Oh, what a start for Real Madrid. Griezmann to deliver. Mbappe has bundled it in. 2 for Kylian Mbappe. He might just have won this game for France.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Kylian Mbappe with France heading to the World Cup. It comes off the back of a tricky and pretty controversial season at times, although he ended up with a golden boot, didn't he? So it wasn't all bad. The definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe is out in a couple of days' time, and it's written by a friend of the show, French football expert Julien Laurent. Good to see you, Jules.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, pleasure.
So the way these often work, books like this, is that although Kylian has not sat down for exhaustive interviews, the people that you've spoken to have kind of done it with his blessing, haven't they? So he is supportive.
Yeah. He has to give his authorization, really. But it's not an autobiography. It's not his words.
No.
It's not me just ghosting him, telling the story about his career. I think he will do that himself in a couple of years' time. He's still only 27. But I just wanted to tell the story, and there's a lot of things that, some people might know already because he's been such a big name for a long time. But I just find the whole career quite fascinating for somebody who was such a prodigy at a young age, that had quite an incredible trajectory to the top. And now with Real Madrid and with France, with the World Cup coming as well, it felt like the right time probably to just remind the story.
One of your acknowledgements is to your friend Charlie, who alerted you to it. Tell us a bit about that story.
Yeah, because actually, in Paris, when you grow up in Paris, and football in Paris is just a quite small world. So very often you hear about the name of a young player, grassroots level, or somebody like that, or you play against somebody, and the word goes quite quickly. Oh, there's this kid somewhere, and Charlie one day said, "Listen, there's this boy at Bondy, so north of Paris. We're more from the east." He said, he's amazing. We have to go and watch just to see what the first is about, really. Is he really a phenomenon or not? So I remember one weekend being back in Paris, and we went together, and here was Kylian, so he was 11 at the time, playing under 14 already, with a shirt far too big for him, the smallest and skinniest player on the pitch, and he just destroyed everybody in the.
You can always tell, I think.
Oh, I think he takes
the greats. You can
5
see
minutes.
Yeah.
He touched the ball a couple of times, and we had seen enough. And
unless you're a director of football at Chelsea, otherwise you can always tell.
Yeah, they try. But I remember we saw, for example, Nicolas Anelka at 15 or Thierry Henry at 15, and it was Hatem Ben Arfa at 13. It was the same feeling. You'd be watching, you were like, "Wow, okay, this is something else."
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a fascinating career in a sense because he won a lot of league titles with PSG, but there's a difference between his club career and his national career in terms of he's never won the Champions League, has he?
No, not yet.
But he has won the World Cup.
Yeah.
And he scored a hat-trick in a losing final, which, is incredible. That kind of gets lost a bit, but that's an achievement as well. So there is a difference, isn't there?
Yeah, you're right. I think maybe he stayed a bit too long in Paris, but that was his hometown. I think the idea of winning the Champions League for the first time for them was something that was really appealing to him. But there's something about the World Cup for sure. I think, I say in the book, he learned the Marseillaise, the French anthem, when he was 3 years old because he was convinced that one day he would be at the World Cup with a French shirt singing the anthem. And I think with those kind of superstars in every sport, I think they're made differently. They're wired differently. They've got that drive and that ambition that I think a lot of people just don't have in them. But for them, he was just convinced he would make it to the top and then go to the World Cup and be the France captain and win the World Cup and everything and score goals in the final. All of that for him was inevitable when he was younger.
What have you made of that move to Real Madrid a couple of seasons in? So he's had, it's been quite difficult. Some of the things that got on, the whistling from the crowd towards the end. Have you been surprised that there hasn't been a great success, or were you always a bit nervous about that?
Yeah, I always thought it's a difficult place in a way because they're just so demanding. But if you look down the years, they also booed Di Stefano when he was there, and Cristiano, and Benzema, and loads of their greats. So in a way, for them to boo him is probably because they even want more from him. The 48 goals he scored this season, or 42 for them, but 48 in total, maybe it's not enough. Maybe they want him to be even better. And I think he usually responds really well to that kind of adversity and say, okay, I'll show you, don't worry. We can talk about his defending and, the work ethic, and I think he's well aware. There's a line of his mum in the book when she says, when he was 4, he didn't defend. He's not going to defend now that he's 27, which in a way I understand. But I think he could also do a little bit more. That will come, but he scored a lot of goals in those 2 seasons. Okay, there's no major trophies, but I still think it's a success, certainly individually.
It is interesting because he likes to play off the left, or he often did. And then you had this thing with Vinicius, and it basically did for Xabi Alonso, didn't it? The two of them. It wasn't ideal. It'd be interesting to see how Jose handles them because, you know, he's used to handling big players, but he doesn't, you know.
Yeah, how'd you see that relationship? It's quite fascinating, isn't it?
It is, I think. It's like popcorn stuff, right? Hollywood script somewhere of Mourinho working not just with Kylian, but also Vini and Bellingham and all those kind of guys, and trying to find some chemistry somewhere, which I guess is always a bit difficult with big egos and players who are quite individualistic. But there's a way. Like, I think with those guys, and this is probably the same with Klopp and Salah sometimes, or even with Messi and all the teams he played in, you find a way, because Kylian is just so good when you have the ball. It's without the ball, what you do with him. And Deschamps, for example, played him centrally because you've got less defending to do, and that's probably what Jose will do as well at Real Madrid.
They're so rarefied, these people. We only really see him on a football pitch. But what's he like in your dealings with him? What's
I
he
mean,
like?
the most striking thing for me is how much he loves football. Like there would not be days where he doesn't watch a game. Thierry Henry was exactly the same.
That's great.
It's just he knows everything about every league, every team, every player, every country. He's just obsessed with the game, and I think that's also why he's been so good, because from a young age, it was all about football. Everything was just about football, playing, watching, learning about it. And I think he's the same now at 27. There's always a lot of football in his life. And I think that passion come through. And again, his mum talks really well about the passion that he shows and how much otherwise she said he wouldn't have been that good and probably would do something else now, because it's also that passion that helps you. He's got no life. You know, we can go to the shop and buy a baguette. That kind of level of superstardom, there's no life for them. So you must really love football, otherwise you don't do it.
Do you think he's still enjoying life in Madrid and playing for Madrid?
Yeah, I think so. I think he loves it there. I mean, he's got a girlfriend now that would be in the next chapter probably of the book, but you know, with Esther Exposito, who's a big star over there. I think he loved the city. He spoke the language before. Again, he learned it very young because he was convinced one day he would use it because he would play there. So he loved the life there. Of course, he wishes that they'd won the title or done better in the Champions League. But also, he knows that this will come. There will be another great team soon.
And how does I was just going to ask about how he views PSG now, because he loved the club and wanted to play for the club.
Yeah.
And he's seen them go into another Champions League after winning one. I mean, it must hurt a bit. Or is he still a fan, you think, at heart?
Yeah, I think there's part of him that's still a fan for sure. And obviously, his best friend, Achraf Hakimi, plays for PSG. Ousmane Dembele is another very close friend of his. He was in Morocco last season for the Champions League and watched it, and then spent most of the night on the phone with all of them. So I think part of him is still Parisian and will always be. But in a way, he must look at it and say, I just wish I was there, whether it was with Paris or with Real Madrid or anybody else. But that's the one I think that is really missing. And he knows that the day he will win the Champions League, he'll be a huge candidate for the Ballon d'Or, 4 months later.
Sure.
So that has to come.
So they could win the World Cup. That would help.
That would help massively. You're right.
And they do looking at their squad, it looks pretty healthy. I mean, you'd expect France to go, well, virtually all the way, really.
I think so. I mean, if you look at the front four, even without Ekitike, who would have been there, who would have started, not injured, but just the Dembele, Olise, Mbappe, and then whoever from Cherki to Doué or Barcola on the left-hand side is pretty incredible. And then I think in Upamecano and Saliba, you've got the two best centre-backs in Europe this season. I don't think anybody else has been better than them too. Full-backs might be a bit of a weakness depending on Koundé's fitness and Ding or Theo Hernandez on the other side. But everywhere else, I think it's just packed with talent.
Everybody's been raving. I've not watched it yet, Jules. I'm sure you have. This documentary, The Bus, on Netflix about the 2010 under Ramon Domenech, the great mutiny that happened in the French squad. And Martin Lipton, writing in the Sun today, says there's something going on behind the scenes at the moment. The players have had their bonuses cut around these World Cup games, apparently. Again, there's a picture of Kylian Mbappe. They say he's understood to be unimpressed by the request to have their
how's he going to manage?
Well, that's right. He might have to get in part-time work.
It's a discussion. Let's say that way. I don't think the players have agreed because strangely the federation 2 years ago raised their bonuses, and now they're asking the players to accept to reduce the bonuses, arguing that they will get less money at the World Cup because from FIFA, because there's more teams, because the taxes in the US are bigger than anything else, so that they will make less money. So it's normal that the players get less money, and the players will be like, well, the money is not for them anyway. No players keep their international bonuses. They give them to charities and everything. So the players are saying like, hang on, this is for a good cause. It's not for us directly. We give them out to charities all around the country. So why should we not take this bonus that you gave us 2 years ago? It's a bit strange. So it's an interesting one.
We'll keep an eye on that. Julian Laurent's definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe is out in a couple of days' time, published by Ryan Books. We're going to keep chatting about it, and we're going to look ahead to the Champions League final, because Julian, of course, is a PSG fan, but he has close connections. And over here is a fan of Arsenal, so he's pretty well placed to tell us how he thinks the game's going to play out. We'll keep chatting in a few moments' time. We're here with Toolstation. First stop for everything for the job from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Start strong, start it right. First stop, Toolstation.
You're going down next season.
No, we're not going down, mate.
You're going down, mate.
No, even you know that. Even you know
Well,
that.
why am I saying it?
Well, because you know that's not going to happen.
What do we know? No, I don't. I don't say
never,
things.
You know that's never going to happen.
Well,
we had this season was an absolute joke.
And what's going to change?
Well, everything's going to change.
Well, okay, name it.
Well, starting one with the manager. Right. The manager's come in and he's got results, kept us up.
Right. Okay.
He won't allow.
You said that last season.
No, we got Thomas Frank in the summer, and that was the wrong appointment. This is the right appointment.
Okay. But you said that last summer.
So everything will change.
You've got a new manager. You said that.
They won't allow that. They won't allow that to happen.
And you can't allow. You can't. You've not got a magic
wand. You can't sit
wand.
there and say that Spurs are going to go down, mate.
I'm saying you now. You will be in a relegation battle this season.
Jace,
promise you.
Mate, shut up. What are you on about?
You're one of my favourites to go down.
What are you on about?
You can't just flip. You honestly, you've been in football all your life. You can't flick a switch and just think we're Spurs. You were Spurs last year, and you're Spurs this season.
Well, that's absolute garbage.
Have gone through the same
absolute
thing.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's
teams
worse.
Finished 17th, and then they sort themselves out.
Did you get better or worse?
What? We've got more points this season.
Did you get better or worse?
Well, technically, we got better.
Did you get better or worse?
Factually, we got better. Because we got 30. We got 38 points last season. We got 41 this season. Good season.
See, this is the
good season.
This is the arrogance and the naivety of you, and you're just Spurs, mate.
No, but listen, I'm up for a laugh. Listen, I'm all up for a laugh, right? And it has been.
You're going down next season.
Oh, we're not. Oh, Jace.
You're going down, mate.
Jace.
You're going down.
Jace. Come on, mate.
EFL Roundup.
Come on, mate.
It's coming.
I know you want to keep the narrative alive, right? Just for your own little self-worth.
What do you mean self-worth?
Oh, you want to keep it alive. You keep your little EFL roundups and keep your little Ange masks and keep all that garbage that you've done all season.
What do you mean garbage?
Load of old guff. All right, load of old guff. And it's only been good because Spurs have been crap. All right, so I know you want to keep it going, but you can't sit
24 months.
You can't sit there with a straight face and say Spurs are going to go down.
Right, next season, you're hearing this.
Get a full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
I'm going to put it out there now, right? I'm going to phone the boss. All right, in the break, I'm phoning the boss. Not the mid boss, the big boss. All right.
Okay.
They're getting deleted from the archive.
What's going to get deleted?
Never to be seen again. EFL Roundup cannot be played on this station one more time. All right? Because Spurs are in the Premier League. So forget your little EFL Roundup.
Full rundown of all the Championship's biggest teams in the Sports Bar. EFL Roundup with Jamie O'Hara on talkSPORT.
Julien Laurent is with us. He has written the definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe. It's out on Thursday. Just before we go on to the final, Jules, I mean, it seems unlikely. Do you ever see him playing in the Premier League? And if he did, who would he want to play for you?
You know, a lot of people ask me this question, and I think Real Madrid was always the dream anyway, and he's got a long-term contract. He's 27, going 28. Will be 28 in December. I think I can see him staying there for a long time. But then I don't think it's impossible to see him at some point. We know
City,
that.
Surely.
But Liverpool is the club that, like, his mum loves Liverpool.
Oh, really?
They're the team,
Okay.
the club that they watch the most. They were really loving. It's funny because all those of English teams tried to sign him when he was 12, 14, 15, 17. You know, some went all the way to Nice and parked the private jet on the, like I said in the book, on the airport, just waiting in case he was not staying in Monaco and decided to leave, and they were all there ready to make him an offer. So maybe one day I think he would be great in the Premier League. I think he's got the game for it.
And he clearly follows it from what you've said.
Yeah, he watches it all. Yeah, really, absolutely watches it all.
Yeah. So, on to the Champions League final. As we said, you follow Arsenal over here, but you are a PSG fan. And so it's the Julien Laurent derby at the weekend. So, yeah, I mean, you want PSG to win, though, don't you?
Yeah, probably a little bit more. It's the kind of game where you don't want either team to lose, really. It's the same for our kids. It's the same with the family. So it's a bit difficult. I put it in a way that I was in Oslo for the Women's Champions League final on Saturday, and Lyon had a player who was in a couple with a Barcelona player. So they were facing each other in the Champions League final, being a couple. And for us, it's a little bit like that in the house. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a great final. I think it's much tighter than a lot of people seem to think.
Yeah.
Because there's no PSG as strong favourite or anything like that. But I think Arsenal have the game to disturb the way PSG play. If there's a team that can control the tempo, it's Arsenal. They're the best at that. They're the best team out of possession when they don't have the ball. They're so difficult to play against. They're so physical. They're so well organised that I think this is everything that you need to cause problem to PSG.
It's all about first goal for me. I think
I see what you mean.
Really key. And it'll be a better game for the neutrals if PSG score. And it'll be a better game for me if they win. We're right behind PSG.
Yeah, I know. A lot of English people say that.
But it's true. If they did score early, you'd like to think the game would open up a bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
And it's not the game Arsenal particularly want, but if you know,
the tighter it is, the longer it goes, the tighter it goes, the better it is for Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree. Because the thing is, PSG will play or should play in Arsenal's half. This is what they do. So you think there's a lot of space. But this Arsenal team is not a transition team. You know, Gyökeres can make runs, but Saka is not a runner. Trossard is not a runner. The midfield are not really runners in that sense, in terms of like quick transition or counter-attacking football. This is not what they do. So yeah, you can play the ball in the channel for Gyökeres, but then the rest of the team still has to run 50 yards up and try to catch up. By that time, Pacho will have the ball back and then PSG will attack again.
Yeah.
So I think from an Arsenal point of view, for me, Mikel Arteta should start Havertz ahead of Gyökeres. You know, you should have Lewis Kelly in the midfield. You need ballers in that team to match up with PSG in how to keep the ball and manage that ball, really. Because for PSG, usually they're asking the question, where is Joao Neves? Where is Vitinha? All those rotation and variations are so difficult to play against.
Yeah.
Where is Dembele? Dembele dropping all the time. Doué the same. Hakimi the same. Nuno Mendes the same. If from an Arsenal point of view, you ask them the same questions, by Havertz dropping, the Calafiori coming from left back inside, Lewis Kelly playing in that kind of role a bit everywhere, having maybe Eze on that left-hand side ahead of Trossard or Martinelli, and Eze dropping into midfield. The PSG players suddenly have against them something that is looking a bit similar to what they do to other teams. And for me, that's the key for Arsenal to go and win.
I thought they'd be going route one to Gyökeres. That was my game plan.
But then the problem is, you can do that. And who's following behind? I mean, Saka has to run, and Saka is ball to feet, not running in behind.
Yeah. So if you do you want to predict a score? Do you think we're in for a long evening? If it doesn't, I mean, say, unless you have this situation, you kind of feel it could be a long night.
I think it could be a very tactical, tight game, close game, for sure.
0-0 though, Kenny.
No, I don't think so. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was just 2-1 or even 1-0 to one of the two teams. I think set pieces, I know we say it a lot, but it is key. PSG have considered 35% of their goals this season on set pieces.
Right.
And Safonov is better than Donnarumma in the air for sure, but he's still not the best in the world. So that's one part. But I also think PSG, having been in the final last season, that kind of experience is so important when you go into a final like this. even from an Arsenal team that has less pressure because they've won the league title now, which was the objective at the start of the season. I think it's a big advantage for PSG to have been there before and also to be able to go back to back. And in terms of motivation, to be one of the very few teams who've gone back to back in the Champions League or European Cup before. There's not many, you know, Liverpool, Forest, Real Madrid, twice, Bayern, Ajax, and then you, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then that is in itself an incredible achievement for Luis Enrique.
We wish you well with the book, Jules.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
No doubt we'll chat to you
Thank you
around
for
the
having me.
World Cup. The definitive biography of Kylian Mbappe by Julian Aron, published by Orion Books, and it's out in hardback on Thursday. That is us. It will be Max and Charlie with you tomorrow. I'll be back on Thursday. Andy will join us for the birthday spread. And, of course, we will be reflecting on Palace against Rayo Vallecano tomorrow. And that'll be live on talkSPORT. But it's off to Centurion, the golf club, for the James Maddison Charity Golf Day. Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent are there with Madders and all the stars. And you'll hear from them over the next 3 hours.
Interestingly, we just want to get your sort of on this whole players, you know, seeing what people say about them and seeing what people write about them. And just quickly, this is what Gabby Agbonlahor had to say on a player yesterday on talkSPORT Breakfast. We were talking about Spurs and their staying up on the last day. And he had this to say about Vicario.
These players should have been walking around the pitch on their hands and knees saying sorry to the fans. And Vicario, I'm watching the game. I'm listening to the commentary with Gary Neville. You're spot on. This goalkeeper has done nothing in a Spurs shirt, been dreadful.